So hey guys, this is your favorite the fictional Vortex. So in this video, we will see, what if Naruto was the Maelstrom Jedi and fall in love with female Revan? But before we start, remember to subscribe and like this video. Now let's start. A man in a tattered orange cloak with black flames ran with a purple ball of swirling energy at a CR. Eater with yellowish-white decayed flesh hitting it in the head. Rasengan. With that yell the creature's head exploded in a gray goo spraying the man with gore. 3 more of the creatures showed up in the man's side. Well damn, he thought, will this never end? Without pause he fought the 3 all the while thinking maybe opening that rift was a bad idea. Flashback no jutsu. On a mountain a blonde-haired man with 3 whisker-like marks on each cheek looked down at a village in sorrow and frustration. Sorry sensei. Ba-chan, I couldn't bring peace like you both wanted, he whispered with tears running down his whiskered cheeks. Naruto's ears flicked like a canine's at noises behind him. He turned and saw a group of men and women surround him with weapons. His eyes fell upon 3 that made his heart clench in pain as these 3 he looked at his family. You have nowhere to go, said a man who used a walking stick and had an arm in a sling and bandages covering one eye. Yes Naruto, you can't beat us all, shrieked a pink-haired banshee. Naruto smiled in a sad way. Danzo, Sakura, Hinata, Sasuke. How are you 4? Dobi, all your friends and allies are dead, give us the 10 tails and you can die painlessly, ordered Sasuke. Tem, you failed to understand, I am the new 10 tails. With that he dropped his henge showing 10 tails flowing behind him and 2 fox ears on top of his head. Gasps rang out in the crowd. Words familiar to him rang out. Demon, monster, and many others. So we seal you instead, Danzo stated. Yea, once Hinata gives birth you will be sealed, yelled Sakura. Naruto looked at Hinata in a harsh glare. You do that to a child? Hinata, he spoke in anger. She looked at him in a blank stare and he understood. You have her under a genjutsu, don't you Sasuke? He yelled in anger. Sasuke smirked. Yes, but I am not sealing you in your child. Naruto was shocked. Am my child? But Sakura interrupted. When Sasuke rode the bitch, apparently she was pregnant already. And we found out we had Danzo put her under a mind control genjutsu. Kai, Naruto yelled. Hinata collapsed in a heap crying. She saw everything but could do nothing to escape the jutsu. Sasuke picked her up and stabbed her in the stomach with the kusanagi blade and slit her throat. Naruto stood still as it happened too fast to stop and watched as his Chilzen wife died instantly. Rage bubbled in him as his Yuki flared. Before Danzo could yell at him, Sasuke looked arrogantly and said, I am an Uchiha, I shall become the container, not a demon's baby. A memory of a forbidden jutsu that the memories of all the Biju knew leapt to Naruto's rage-addled mind. It used the planet's core energy, so Naruto used it. Kami's Rift no Jutsu. In a flash the world of ninjas ceased to exist and Naruto fell 10 stories into a rancid underground plaza in the middle of a large pack of raccoons. Kai flashback. Naruto fought for 3 days non-stop against hordes of the creatures until these last 3 or so he hoped. Boom. In a flash of light Naruto saw 30 more raccoons die as something crushed them before they reached him. Tired he sat down as any creatures alive fled the area. Naruto felt 10 life energies approach the impact site 15 minutes later. He saw red-armored humanoids that looked like the silver-armored beings he fought yesterday. A hiss and a woman fell out in a heap at their feet. She had long brown hair and a lithe body with a silver cylinder on a belt to her left. Take the Jedi, this might be her, one of the red beings ordered. In a flash of yellow light and a snap, hiss sound heard by Naruto and the others, the one who spoke fell into 2 pieces. The woman had awakened in that moment and flicked on her lightsaber. The beings reacted too fast for her counter all the red blaster shots. She was hit by 7 shouts out of the storm of blaster rifle fire. She took down 7 more men before she collapsed. Naruto fed up with the group of people ganging up on a lone Oman. He ran at the beings, killing the rest. He picked up the woman as she struggled to breathe. She knew she was dying and tears started to fall down her face. She didn't want to die just yet. She needed to help end the war. She knew she should embrace it like her teachers taught her. But she also wanted to see both her mother and father at least one last time. She saw a male figure holding her as she looked up. She heard him ask her name and she said weakly, Bastilla Shan. Naruto saw her eyes get dimmer as the life left her body and he heard her heartbeat slowing. All of a sudden an instinct came over him. He moved her shirt off of her right shoulder and bit her while putting Yukai into the bite. Her body started to convulse and her heartbeat grew stronger and faster. Her wounds healed instantly and she fell into a deep sleep. Naruto saw a double-bladed lightsaber like her own but as a tattoo. He picked her up and ran to find a shelter until she woke. And then, that's it for the first chapter. As you can see, Bastilla was found by Naruto and the Sith, not Brejik. It will be someone else who was found by Brejik and saved by Revan and her team. Yep, Revan will be female. Sorry to Sa-T. Here 1 or 2 character deaths towards the end of this story. As I said, this story will be a harem fic. Also the lightsaber mark will be explained soon. R&R. Naruto's Pav. Undercity Taris. Naruto sat in an earthen cave he made from an earth jutsu and a wall it came from. He had a fire going in a pit he dug and stared at the woman he had saved. From what he could see in the firelight, she had flawlessness to her skin where the blaster shots had burned holes into her clothing and from her face and hands. Naruto's eyes had gone vacant as he reviewed his clone's memories looking for any people. So far all he found were rak ghouls and skeletal corpses. And a few of the armored men as he now knew that's what they were. Other than that, nothing. I don't understand. I can feel people above me but no way up, he said to himself. Deciding to wait for the woman to wake, he opened a scroll for new cloths as his were mainly rags from constant fighting. In a puff of smoke a set of clothing Appy read the same style and colors as the ones he wore now. Naruto proceeded to strip and used a jutsu he created to clean himself of all the crime and gore of fighting non-stop. She blushed as she looked at his body again but turned away. I should be dead, she thought. He must have healed me somehow. Naruto heard the woman's heart speed up and smelt her arousal and finished dressing. He turned to her and asked, Are you okay, miss? Bastilla shivered as she heard his voice. No one should have a voice that sexy, she thought. Images of him in bed formed but she shook them away. Fine, she replied. He smell. Her arousal increased but dismissed the lust in her voice. Here is some clothing for you to wear, he offered as hers had holes and burn marks. Female Anbu uniform. He excused himself while she chan. When she came out to him, his mind played a scene from one of his sensei's perverted books that he had finally decided to read. He shook his head to clear the image while feeling guilty as Hinata's face flashed in his head. I will not betray her memory, he thought. Across the universe in a momentary flash, Jedi and Sith felt in the Force a great sadness and pain that shook even the most sadistic Sith and most hardened Jedi. Bastilla back inside the cave rushed out as she felt it come from somewhere close by. She gasped as she felt the emotions came from Naruto. Tears came to her eyes but just as the emotions appeared they vanished just as quickly. Naruto felt Bastilla rush out to him, so he forced his emotions down and put his normal mask up. He turned just as she dried her eyes. Ready to go, he skied. So both Bastilla and Naruto headed to the east and Naruto felt 70 life signatures in that direction. Sayers Pav. Upper City Apartments, Taris 4 hours earlier. A dark-skinned woman gasped. As she came out of a dream of a Jedi woman and 3 other Jedi fighting on a ship against her. She then got a third-person view of the battle. They were battling a reddish, orange-masked and black-robed figure. When another ship fired on the one the Jedi and she guessed Sith were in. The woman got up slowly as the images faded into her mind. And saw her surroundings and the man she met earlier on the Endar Spire. A ship as she remembered that exploded as they escaped. You okay, miss? The man asked. Yes, Karth, I am okay, she said. Recalling his name, she looked around and saw a sparse apartment and asked where they were. In an abandoned apartment in Upper Terrace, was what Karth said. We hid not that far from here and I got us away as you had hit your head, Karth said. She took in the I-N formation and decided to trust the man, albeit grudgingly. I'm Sar Cernva, she introduced herself. Karth responded with his full name, Karth D. Onasi. Okay, Karth said after a few moments of silence. We need to find Bastilla and get off this rock before the Sith realize we survived the crash. I heard the Force, if used properly, can erase your memories and wipe away your very identity. At the blank stare about Bastilla, Karth proceeded to tell Saar about Bastilla's importance to the Republic and how if the Sith got her she could be used against them. Inside Saar burned in fury that, to the Republic she was nothing but a pawn and Bastilla a weapon. Saar just decided to agree for now and both left. They came upon a Sith patrol accosting two Duros and when one was gunned down, she LLED her blaster and destroyed the battle droids and killed the Sith. Saar decided to scout out each apartment in case the Sith were inside and found none. A woman named Dia was hiding from a man named D. Holden who put a price on her head for defending herself from his advances. Saar decided to pay the bounty off and kill Holden as she despised men like him. She also met a Twi'lek merchant named Lerm who sold shields and med PACS. With that all done she left to explore Taris and hopefully run into information on how to get off the blockaded planet and find Bastilla. While walking towards the cant, Ina that Lerm told her about Saar decided she needed to know more about Karth, in which he told her about his service. When she probed for more about his personal life he became rude and raising his voice while also posturing like a puffer fish. Shed back down for now and he told her maybe later as they had came up to the cantina entrance. Saar met an old man who sold a Pazak deck, which she loved. Ed to play and beat a man named Nichols with 3 wins 2 losses and a draw. Declining another game she found herself in duel waiting area as people watched 2 men fight. One man dropped his blaster which caused his to lose. Saar decided to participate and walked up to a HUD named Ajur. So you wish to fight? Spoke the deep booming voice of Ajur. Yes as long as no one die, she said. She didn't need the Sith arresting her. Good, good, laughed the HUD in excitement. You will go by mysterious stranger, said Ajur in a tone that said you will agree or suffer. With that Saar fought both Deadeye Duncan and Gerlon 2 fingers easily. She lost against Ice in a close match so she decided to leave it at that and she needed more training with a vibroblade to beat her. Meeting Bendak Starkill, who was a Mandalorian brought a rage in her to the surface as she saw his armor which confused her as she had never met a Mandalorian before she had only seen vids. She let Karth talk to him before they left. They headed to the med center to get more med PACS as they might need them and they were cheaper here than anywhere else. She sensed the doctor was hiding something and hacked the only locked door in the place. She found 2 Republic soldiers in Kolto tanks. Zelka the doctor who ran the place. Zelka told them he couldn't save them but could ease their passing when he saw they were from the Republic. He had told them to beware the Undercity as that might be where more pods crashed and of the Rak ghouls and of a serum that could cure infected people of the virus to change people. They left after promising to get the serum when the assistant Gurney tried to bribe them to give the cure to Zax who would in turn give it to a crime lord by the name Davik Kong who would in turn have it available for people who could pay a lot of money for the serum. It didn't work and they left to go to the east side of Upper City Terrace where the rich lived. Karth and Saar went into another apartment area to explore. They found a merchant by the name Largo who needed to pay Davik 200 credits that he owed him. Since he didn't have it a bounty was placed on him. Serdaki ing pity on the man gave him the credits and left. They saved an Aqualish from 3 Sith troopers who Saar and Karth all killed. Taking 2 spare uniforms from the alien to get to Lower City Terrace the Aqualish told them to seek the hidden Becks as they would know any information about the crashed pods. Saar noticing that Karth was distant and quiet more than usual she asked what was wrong. He told her about how he was suspicious of her and why the Jedi requested her. She told him she was a smuggler who was able to learn alien languages after either reading it or hearing it for several minutes. She asked why he was always suspicious of everyone and he told her about how he trusted his commanding officer and mentor Saul Karith and how as a show of loyalty to the Sith bombed Karth's home planet of Telos. Saar tried to lighten the mood but he snapped at her and raised his hand like he was going to hit her before turning away and walking to the elevator to go down to Lower Terrace. She left him alone walking back, eyeing him as she saw the rage in his eyes and the violence in them too. All of a sudden Saar felt sadness and pain and collapsed unconscious. Karth noticed and picked her up and used a nearby transit shuttle to their hideout. An hour later Saar woke from dreams of a blonde-haired man with whisker marks and 10 tails flowing behind him. His eyes held such pain and loneliness that struck her as something she always felt. The dream fading, she saw she was back in the apartment she awoke in before. "K Sar," said Amon's voice. "Huh," she mumbled aloud. "I said, are you okay, Sar?" asked Karth. As she heard the voice better, the echo of the dream fading into her mind. "I guess," she said as she got up. "What happened to you?" asked Karth. "Don't know. I felt such pain and sadness coming from what felt like beneath us," she told Karth. She saw his skepticism and waved it off with her hand. "Let's go," she said, making the tone such as she didn't want to talk about it any that they left to go to a transit shuttle to get back to the elevator after putting on the Sith armor. They went down and saw two gangs fighting before they were attacked by the winners. They defeated them and went into the apartments across from the elevators. They ran into more gang members that went by the name the Black Vulcar, which several called out as they ran at them. Sar also ran into a female assassin by the name of Selvin, which she vaguely recognized but why she didn't know. Selvin attacked without warning as she saw Sar. They killed her but stopped to heal their wounds. They left the area and went to the cantina across from the hidden Beck's base. Naruto's POV under Sati, Taris. Naruto and Bastilla rested a few hours away from the village that Naruto felt was near. They had found what Bastilla had said was a serum for the Rakghoul's virus. On a Sith corpse. Not far from the Sith body, Naruto found a female's body that was dressed in clothing that had patches sewn where the clothing became threadbare. He found a datapad that was a journal of her journey to find something that was described as the Promised Land. Bastilla read it and said that it was a myth. Naruto looked at her. "A might's away south of you. Our escape pod, I found a place that had some barrier around it. I sent a clone to investigate. I found records that some previous alien race made the place as a place to live away from the others of their kind." "What happened to them?" Bastilla asked in a curious tone. "They found something, don't know what, but it turned them into the first Rakghouls." Naruto stated ominously. "They were still in air, so I made a few hundred clones and killed them in case they got out. I didn't know that there were already others outside the barrier until I got about 30 minutes away from it." Naruto continued. Bastilla looked at him in shock. She saw Naruto look into the fire, then look at her. "Sleep, Bastilla. Save your energy. I can fell at least 100 of those creatures between us and the village, my clones." With that he turned away from her and drifted off to sleep. Bastilla looked at his turned back and decided to follow his advice. Dream Realm. Naruto woke up with a light shining in his eyes. He blinked away the bright light as a field of green grass filled his vision. He heard sounds of nature. Sounds that were familiar to him as was the smells. He had finally recognized the place. It was the place he had his first date with Hinata after the attack of the village by Pain. He saw two figures walk towards him and his mouth fell open as he recognized one of them. A woman held the hand of a small girl around 4 or 5. Both had long raven hair with dark blue streaks that brought out pale lavender eyes of one and vivid amethyst eyes of the other. "Hinata," whispered Naruto, but he saw the pupilless lavender eyes of his former lover become filled with tears as she heard her name on his lips. The little girl squealed, "Daddy," in delight as she ran over to his sitting form and hugged him till he started to go blue in the face. Tears ran down his face as Hinata knelt in front of him. Pulling the girl from Naruto's neck, Hinata them leapt at him as the tears she had fell onto his neck. How?" he stammered out in a choked sob. "Kushina, go play dear," Hinata told the girl. With that the girl got up, hugged him again and skipped off to do what her mother said. Naruto looked at the girl skipping until she faded away. He looked around in a panic as he didn't want her to leave. Somehow he didn't know how, but he knew she was his. Hinata pulled him down and looked him in his eyes. "Don't worry, she just went to play with her friends. Now Kami sent us to you for closure and to move on," she told him before he could talk. "Don't give me that look, Naruto. I am sorry about what happened, but it was meant to." Naruto was confused. "Move on? Why do I need to move on, and why are you sorry? I believed they would change. You are immortal now, save for being beheaded you cannot die," she explained. "I am immortal," he yelled, stuttering at first as he was shocked. "Yes, immortal. When you did that jutsu, every being, plant, and even the energy of the planet powered the portal and then went into you," she told him. Naruto felt sick as it now hit him that he killed innocent people and children. They were right. "I am a demon," he thought. As if knowing what he was thinking, Hinata slapped him. That dimension was meant to die, Naruto, Hinata said harshly. Kami saw that they would never change no matter what, so she gave you that jutsu to leave that dimension and come to this one. Our first creation, to try and save it instead. She continued. So I guess this force that Bastilla has is like chakra, he guessed aloud. No, the force is actually Kami herself, all who use her are her children, Hinata told him. She looked around for a minute. We are running out of time. You need to expand your clan and make all your mates immortal so none die on you. So a harem, he joked, giving her a deadpan look. Yes, she said in a serious tone. No buts, mister, as she saw him about to complain. Jiraiya said to sell his books here if you need money. With that, Hinata got up, as did Naruto. Kushina appeared beside her mom. Hinata picked up Kushina and both started to fade. Both called out, "We loved you, Naruto, daddy," and then vanished. Naruto wasn't ready for them to leave or leave himself. Naruto roared out as all of his repressed anger, pain, and anguish hit him at once. Any who could feel the force felt the emotions again from the same being, but they were stronger and more powerful. Bastilla woke as she felt something wrong, as saw Naruto thrashing and his Yuki and force energy surround him. She felt his pain and heard to words as he roared out his anguish, Kushina and Hinata. She curled up in a ball, crying out in tears as his pain and rage was unbearable to her and she could not reach him to wake him. Jedi Council Chambers, Coruscant. 12 people sat in an emergency session, with 5 of the 12 as holograms as they were off-planet. All but 3 were arguing with each other, their raised voices getting louder to get their opinion heard. "We must find this disturbance and strip it of the force," said a balding old man in a hologram. "No, we must find it and see why every force-sensitive could feel it," said an exotic-looking Lana Vosh. "Cillians. Order a small alien with huge ears by the name of Vandar. The force weeps as her child is in pain," said another female. "Right, Atris is," came the old voice of Vandar as his voice was softer. "Come here, he will to us in time." With that, the small Jedi Master left to go to Dantooine as the force told him to be there. Emperor's throne room, wild space, uncharted planet. "He has come, my children," said a voice full of malice and evil to 5 Sith lords that were bowing to him as he had called them. "Bring him to me so I can take his power," it ordered. With that, 4 male figures and 1 female left immediately, as it would take at least a year to get to Republic space even with hyperdrive, and then they could search for the male who their emperor wanted. "There can only be one immortal, and it will be me," cackled the being as a force storm raged outside for several miles. Sayer's Pav, Lower City Cantina, Taris. Saar and Karth met a Twi'lek female by the name of Mission Vow and a male Wookiee by the name Big Z. She gave them information on the 2 gangs that ruled the lower city. The Hidden Becks and the Black Vulcars. Mission told them to talk with Gaiden Thek of the Becks and to stay away from Brejik of the Black Vulcars, as he was bad news. Saar had finally met Holden after he hit on her and she persuaded him to drop the bounty on Dia. He left to tell the Hut named Zax as he handled the bounties. Before he left, she had a drink with him unknown to both Karth and Holden. She poisoned Holden's drink that would kick in a few hours and leave no trace. She went to see Zax to get information on other bounties. She was surprised that the assassin Selvin had a bounty on her and she got 2,000 credits from it. A few hundred didn't seem enough to me in the game. She also found out Bendik Starkiller had a bounty on him and she took it as she would find a way to kill him. She saw a Twi'lek dancer that looked like she needed help, so Saar volunteered to help her audition. The Twi'lek got the job, but he Twi'lek female got angry as Saar showed her up. Saar left with Karth and made her way across to the Hidden Beck base. At first the guard would not let them in until Saar said they had information on the Sith to tell Gaiden. "So I am told you have information on the Sith for me," said a middle-aged black man with prosthetic eyes. "Sorry, but no, we need to see you and to give you these," and with Hat she handed the Sith uniforms to Gaiden. Sith elite uniforms, most impressive. I guess you need to get down to the Undercity to find the crashed Republic pods." Gaiden speculated. Saar and Karth were shocked. Why? Gaiden interrupted. "How did I know? When 2 people not from the planet start asking for information about Republic escape pods and about female Republic officers, word gets to me." I do have your information including the location of the one you are looking for, but you must do something for me first. Gaydon continued. After AIK and his gang stole a swoop bike part from me. I need it back before the race starts in 3 days. Get and I can get you your officer. How do we get to Brejik's base? Asked Karth. A female Twi'lek by the name Mission Vow should know a way into base unless you wish to do a frontal assault which will catch the attention of the Sith. Gaydon said. The Twi'lek bodyguard was shocked. Why would Gaydon send a child into a firefight? She would need to ask when they were alone. She promised herself to keep her safe from harm after her slime of a brother abandoned her. Here are some Sith identification papers to get you to the Undercity as Missio. N was last seen down there with the Wookiee. Gaydon said as he gave them the papers. They left shortly afterward. On the way they met a Mandalorian mercenary by the name Candaris Ordo who was with a few men who worked for Davik Kong. They let them past and went into the last apartments to explore. They ran into 2 Rodian corpses and a man who had killed them. They left him alone and went to explore. Sar found a lot of loot and black Vulcars who attacked them without warning. Killing them, they stood at the last locked apartment and Sar hacked it. Inside, a Twi'lek male by the name Matrix was hiding from bounty hunters. Sar recognized the name as one of the open bounties from Zax. Matrix pleaded to them to not kill him. Karth had bought a permacrete detonator and suggested they use it. Saw no reason to disagree and the 3 faked Matrix death. Sar and Karth went back to get the bounty of Matrix and got 700 credits. They left for their hideout to rest up before going down. Hideout Upper City Apartments, Taris. During the night, a few hours before they would leave, Sar felt Naruto's emotions in the image of Naruto roaring out, then transforming into a giant 10-tailed fox. She woke screaming as the teeth closed on her. Now awake as was Karth, who heard her scream, she curled up crying as the feelings she felt before a day ago came back, but worse. She could hear Karth shouting at her, asking her what was wrong. All she could get out was, "He is in so much pain." Not knowing Karth heard her or that she had said anything, she finally passed out from the pain and drifted back to sleep. Karth didn't know what to do as he saw she had passed out. Who was the man she had said was in pain, and would what happened twice now happen again? Sar woke up groggy and her muscles scream. Ed in pain as her body had tried to relax but felt like a huge cramp. For the next 15 minutes she moaned in pain as she slowly relaxed herself from neck to her feet. Karth had woke at her groans and saw her awake. "You're awake," he exclaimed. Wishing she could hit her head with her palm at the stupid exclamation, she retorted in a strained tone as even her throat muscles were cramping, "No shit, Sherlock." Finally, after a few more minutes, she was able to get up as her body had relaxed enough to move. Her muscles were twitching and spasming still, but she started to stretch herself only to realize she had only her silk purple panties and bra on. Her head slowly swung around and in a sweet voice to Karth asked, "Did you undress me?" Karth had, but no words came to him as he was staring at her lithe form and the sleek muscles shone. Suddenly a feeling of dread had crept in his mind and saw the expression on her face. Several aliens and the janitor had seen a male human in just his garments run out of the so-called abandoned apartment. They then saw what he was running from. The half-naked form of Sar strode out and grabbed the man by the throat and threw him back in the apartment. She saw the audience and they ran in fear as her face showed a sadistic smile and rage in her eyes. The few females which had included Dia knew what that look meant. The male did something perverted to her and would pay for it. The females cheered as she strode in and the door closed behind her. A Sith patrol had came to see what was with the crowd, until they heard screams of a male being tortured and beaten. The one lone female Sith trooper grinned and said it was none of their business, and a sound all men and women knew as a male scream from being hit in a certain spot had cleared every male out of the complex, but females cheering on. Several hours later, a slightly beaten Karth and satisfied Sar left to take a shuttle down to the Undercity. Sar showed the papers to the Sith to get down the elevator and down they went. Undercity, Taris. Sayers and Karth's first sight of the Undercity was a poorly put together town. As soon as they stepped out, 2 men in raggedy cloths blocked them from going further. To get past them they wanted 100 credits, but Sar was able to haggle it down to 50 credits. Just as they got the credits they were chased off by a delicate-looking woman with black hair. Her name was Shalina and she apologized for the two men's rude behavior. Karth made an equally rude comment and Sar slapped him up the back of the head. In another world an tall older M. and sneezed, making another man handing him a cup of coffee spill it on him. Sorry boss, but the man just gave him a look and walked off. Another man saw this and laughed. Can't get a break, can you, McGeek? Shalina gave them a tour and told them a small bit of the history she knew, telling them to talk to Rukul and Jendar if they wanted to know more. They went and talked to Jendar and asked about Mission and the escape pods. Jendar knew nothing of the escape pods but said he saw Mission and the Wookiee went into the sewers. They walked a short distance when an old man stopped them. The man as called Rukul and asked them to find 3 journals. One was his apprentice's, the others were his father's and grandfather's. Sar asked what Rukul needed them for and he told her about the promised land. And that the journals may hold clues to its location. Sar agreed to do this as maybe it had a way to get to the surface without guards. They left to go to the gate but again was stopped by Shady Shish, Opkeeper, who asked if they found the journals to give them to him as he wanted to destroy them as the village was dependent upon him on supplies. Sar lied to him so she could sell some things. They entered the gate but it was closed and a woman and man separated. By the gate were yelling at the gatekeeper to open it but he refused as a pack of rakghouls were to close. Sar saw she and Karth were too late to save the man but before the man was attacked the 3 rakghouls were killed by an orange light like blur. The gatekeeper opened the gates as the rakghouls were dead and the man and woman were reunited. 2 figures approached and Sar and Karth gasped, Karth because he recognized the female and Sar because she recognized the male. Bastilla, shouted Karth, while Sar said something else. You're from my dreams, her shocked voice said. Naruto's Pav Undercity Taris. Naruto paused at the woman's statement. Well, this is awkward, he thought. Hi, I am Naruto and you are. Introducing himself he asked them. Karth went first. Karth Onasi and this is Sar Cernva. Karth Onasi, a female questioned. Bastilla had saw Naruto make short work of those rakghouls and she couldn't even react as fast as he did. She knew he was faster than a Jedi Master, why was still a mystery. She heard the 2 names and stiffened at one. So she survived, that's will please the council, she thought. And then the other name and asked for clarification. Karth was shocked as the way Gaiden stated about the information about the Republic officer, he assumed it meant she had gotten captured. How are you free? He yelled, the shock in his voice still evident. Naruto grimaced as the yelling question was louder in his hearing advanced ears. Kindly refrain from yelling, Tem, Naruto said harshly. Karth's face became flush in embarrassment. Sar asked Bastilla, okay, so if you are free then who does Gaiden have the location of, as he made it seem the person was captured by someone? Must be the another Jedi, as the only female officers aboard the Endar Spire were Jedi and there were 4 of us and 3 of us were female. Bastilla said only Jedi alive from the ship. We must save her. We need to. Karth start. Ed but was interrupted by another voice coming behind Bastilla and Naruto. You gotta help me. No one else will help me, not even the Becks will help me, she cried as she stopped at them. The girl about collapsed but Sar caught her and helped to support the shaken girl. Mission, what's wrong? Where is Zalabar? Me and Zalabar were in the sewers when Gamorrean slavers ambushed us. Big Z told me to run so I did. She sobbed out as fresh tears fell. Mission felt she betrayed her protector by leaving him. For some reason they were after her. Sar and Bastilla both felt aroused and jealous at the teen Twi'lek as they saw his arousal show. Shaking herself from her state she turned to Mission and asked, when we free him will you show us the way into the Black Vulcar base we need to get in and get a swoop bike part to give to Gaiden that was stolen from him for information on a female Republic officer that he has. Sure, there is a back way but I will need to be with you as I was able to owed myself into the Vulcar database and security systems. She told them. Oh, also I can get past the Rancor and get it back into its cage so you all can get through. She said as it was no big deal. A Rancor, yelled Karth, Sar, and Bastilla. Naruto grimaced at the loud yelling of the 3. Well, let's go, said Naruto. The group of 5 made short work of the rakghouls in the area. They had run into a group of Sith having a firefight with another group of men who Sar and Karth saw were the Mandalorian Canderous Ordo and the 3 men he had with him when they ran into him. Deciding Oh help, the Sith were gunned down as Candaris and one lone mercenary were left. Thanks for the assist, they had better weapons than my men. I would have survived but would have had to face Rakghouls alone. Damn Davik, I won't work for him anymore if this keeps up. Growled the Mandalorian, and he and the lone survivor of his men left to go back up to the surface. Naruto and the others just left to go to the sewers. They ran into a bunch of Rakghouls and Gamorrean guards in the sewers. Naruto had also found the last 2 journal data pads that completed the one he found. Huh, he said aloud. What? Asked Sar. This self-sustaining colony is actually 5 miles to the east of where this points them, he said. It's real, exclaimed Karth. Yea, I passed it before finding Bastilla to the west of the village. It had a barrier and was not empty, as the journals state it was full of Rakghouls before I sent clones to kill them. No one can leave if they enter, as my shadow clones found out. He explained. Well, that's good news, we can give them to Rukal after we find Zalabar, said Sar. Shortly saying that they hacked into a security door that had 2 Gamorrean guards inside, which they made short work of. They found Zalabar's weapons and other belongings, including other weapons and items. Just as they put the things away, 5 Gamorreans poured out from another doorway that Mission opened. Mission jumped back as she instinctively swung her vibroblade at the nearest Gamorrean, whose throat was sliced open, spraying her in dark green blood. She fainted as she realized she had killed someone. Naruto ran up and slashed with his claws at a Gamorrean who was about to attack Mission's prone form. The other 3 were killed by Karth and Sar by blaster fire. Mission woke up a few seconds later, seeing Naruto hovering over her, looking at her in sympathy. First kill, right? He asked softly. Realizing it wasn't a dream, she started to cry as she felt sick and also not guilty, which she thought she would. Naruto gathered her in his arms and comforted her. Shish, it's okay. It's not your fault. You are not evil. Was whispered to her as she slowly came down from her shock. The others realizing what happened felt bad, as she was still a teen and now she had felt the first of her innocence yanked away from her, and that the world was more darker than she had realized. Even if she was raised on the streets, the first time you kill someone it makes you feel dirty. Creatures you can rationalize, but anything that can function as a sentient being was different. Bastilla used her lightsaber to open the locked door, as Mission might be able to open it, but she needed comfort more. A Wookiee walked out and saw 3 humans, and a male figure holding a female Twi'lek. Zalabar's eyes widened as he saw the Twi'lek was Mission. Mission saw Zalabar and got out of Naruto's arms and ran to the Wookiee. Big Z, she shrieked. Zalabar held her as she cried. He knew something bad happened to her, what he didn't know. He asked and Mission told him what she did. He grabbed her in a hug and told her she wasn't at fault, at which Mission relaxed before pushing the Wookiee away with a wrinkled nose. Bye. GZ, I love you but you need a bath, you stink, she said. Not seeing the shocked look on the Wookiee's face. I would too if I was in a sewer surrounded by Gamorreans, whispered Naruto. Bastilla held in her laugh at what Naruto said. It wouldn't be smart to laugh at a Wookiee. Sar stepped up to the Wookiee and introduced herself to Zalabar in his language, which surprised everyone. I am Sar. Nice to meet you, Zalabar. The Wookiee was shocked as he heard his language from a human of all species. Then he spoke. Thank you for saving me. I am now in your debt and make a life debt to you and your future cubs. Mission was shocked, as even though she saved him once before, he saved her more and the debt was cancelled, but he stayed with her to protect her, as he had said she was like a sister to him and he would protect his family. Even though she heard the sorrow in his voice at the word family. Are you sure, Zalabar? Asked Sar, as she knew what life debts were, although she didn't know how. She knew she just did. Zalabar said he was sure, and with that they left. They found themselves at the door to the Rancor pit. Okay guys, I think we need to split up so we can do more things. One goes back to make escape plans and the others go into the Vulcar base. Said Naruto. He's right, said Sar. I need to give the journals to Rukal and also find that Rakghul's serum. Oh, you mean this? Naruto said as he held up the 4 vials he found on the Sith corpse. Where did you? Said Karth. Naruto found it on a Sith corpse near the apprentice's corpse, Bastilla explained. Naruto gave the cure to Karth and said, Sorry Sar, something tells me I need you and Bastilla on this, and you said Mission had to come, so he trailed off. Okay, so we hold off on plans and I will give the journals to Rukal and the serum to Zelka at the med center. Said Karth. I am sending 6 clones with you. 5 will go with the outcasts to the colony and the other will go spy on Gaiden. Something feels off with you have told me about him and I want to know what. Naruto said to Karth as they left. With the 6 clones left with Karth and Zalabar to go back up to the surface. Well, let's go, said Mission. And with that they confronted the Rancor. Naruto wanted to let loose, so he transformed into his 10-tailed fox form and attacked the beast in front of him as the 3 females ran to the other door. He girls knocked out the guards as they had monitors that if it showed they had died the area would flood with a toxin. Knocking them out would keep them alive and the devices would show that. Naruto made short work out of the Rancor and went back into his regular form. He joined the girls and they entered the base. The 6 clones of Naruto and the 2 male members Karth and Zalabar made it to the village. They went to the area with infected villagers and killed 3 in mid-transformation. They were however able to save the last 2 after giving them the serum. They then went to the old man, Rukal, and gave him the journals, one of the clones saying that they had seen it and that the location on the journals was at least 5 miles off and that 5 of the clones would go with them to protect them. They also had a task from the boss when they got there before males watched as the village took an hour to pack up and leave, most of the villagers thanking them as they left. With that the 3 went up the elevator to get to their assigned areas. The last clone split with Karth and the Wookiee just out of view from the hidden Beck base. Karth and Zalabar went to give the last bit of the RAKG Hool serum and then went to relax at the hideout. Naruto clone Pav, Gaden's office, hidden Beck base, Taris. The clone of Naruto had used a henge of a member of the Becks entering the compound. He used an illusion of the man just milling about while using his perverted ex-sensei's jutsu of becoming invisible. He made his way to where he saw the man that the Sar described as Gaiden and his guard leave the area to go somewhere else. Following behind while looking around to see the security measures in place, he found himself getting in an elevator with the 2. He could tell that the female Twi'lek W. as upset about something but not what, as they were both silent. They all got out and the clone was shocked as Gaiden turned around and backhanded the purple-skinned Twi'lek. Know your place, Zerdra, or I will sell you as well, the black man said harshly as his hand raised in case she said anything he didn't like. Zerdra had stumbled when she got hit by her boss. But she is a child, Gaiden, and ISW. Or to protect her when her brother left her, she said, wincing as she wiped her split lip of her blood. The clone narrowed his eyes as he saw the male backhand the Twi'lek harder, making her bounce off the wall she hit from the force. Zerdra got up shakily and hate filled her eyes and her blood flowed freely from her mouth as her split lip widened from the second hit. I will not let you sell the child or the others, Gaiden, I will die first. With that she charged at him only to collapse in a heap as a current of electricity ran through her body. She was barely conscious, but she slowly became aware of her surroundings. She saw Gaiden holding a device with his finger hovering over the button. Did you really think I would let someone like you be near me without a plan to subdue you? He sneered. Your suit that I gave you has wires running through it in case you betray me or I tire of you. With that he proceeded to beat Zerdra as the clone watched as it could do nothing to save her. The beating took 10 minutes until the female Twi'lek was barely alive and unconscious. Spitting on her, he called for guards and told them to clean her up, heal her, and put her in the cell with the child. Oot her with the Mirielon and get ready. Reports had said they entered the Vulcar base. Kill the males but leave the females relatively unharmed, he ordered. With that the guards took the once second command Twi'lek to the medbay to heal her. The clone followed. After 2 hours the Twi'lek female was healed and the clone followed the guards to an area with a few cells. He went inside. The guards, seeing a female around 13 or 14 years of age asleep until she woke from the noise of a body hitting the hard steel floor. He noticed after the guards left that the girl had markings like tattoos on her barely clothed body. The girl was able to pick up the Twi'lek and put her on the bed, the girl joining her to share body heat as they both were basically naked. The clone created enough and dispelled itself to give the information to the boss. Naruto, Mission, Sar, and Bastilla Pav Black Vulcar Base, Lower Sati, Taris. Naruto and the girls were just finishing a firefight when the memories from the clone hit him. He glossed over them and cursed. Bastilla shut her lightsaber down as the last of the enemies were downed. Looking over at Naruto, she heard him curse. "What's wrong, Naruto?" she asked. When Naruto looked at her, she backed away as she saw the anger and hatred in his eyes. And his aura became visible. Seeing her reaction, he cursed inwardly at his mask failing him. He always hated slavers. "Sorry. Apparently Gaiden was going to kill us males when we returned to him and sell off you females most likely to get off this world. His female Twi'lek bodyguard apparently found OU. T and voiced her opinion and tried to stop him herself, but he beat her and has her in a cell with what looks like a preteen girl with tattoos on her body." He ranted until he calmed down as he saw the girls shiver in fear. At least that's what he thought at the time. All three females became angry at his words, more so Mission and Sar. "We will save them just as soon as we finish here," Bastilla sighed. D out loud, though she thought she said that in her mind. The other two females nodded at what she said. With that they continued their objective as they were almost done, as they had wiped out most of the Vulcars in the base. They freed some slaves and a few clones escorted them away. But it took longer to get down as almost all the black Vulcars were in the upper part of the base and only encountered the 50 in the swoop garage. They finally came to the last room that was locked. Hacking in the door, Mission opened it with little difficulty, and inside they found 3 Vulcar guards and 2 Twi'leks, which looked in charge. "So you think you can just attack the black Vulcars, do you?" the male Twi'lek asked. "Candon, let me play with them please," said the female. "Well, yay, at first we were here for the swoop bike part, but things have changed. Call Brejic and tell him to bring the female Republic officer and give her to us, and we will kill Gaiden for him," Naruto said, shocking both Bastilla and the Vulcars. This surprised Candon, but he saw how they tore through his men and used his comlink to call Brejic and told him of the offer. Turning off the comlink, he looked at the male in front of him. "Brejic will meet you in the garage in 20 minutes. he told him. Naruto felt rage flood his system and he turned around and killed all 5 of the Vulcars, to the shock of Bastilla, Sar, and Mission, but also it made Mission puke at the gore as Naruto basically tore the 5 into pieces with his bare hands. But for Bastilla and Sar it made them horny. Bastilla was able to ask, "Why?" Basti. La also felt a pain in her chest as she felt like she lost something or someone. All 4 left to ambush the group near the entrance instead of the open garage area. Naruto took the swoop bike part in case they needed it in the future. With almost perfect unison, the 4 attacked and killed the 3 men without any warning. Sar found a lightsaber on Brejic along with 40,000 credits. Brejic, as he died, said one word. "Why?" Naruto went to the girl to see if she was able to talk. As soon as he got near her, before he knelt down, she tried to service him with her mouth. He felt a coldness that seeped into him as he now knew what he needed to do. "Leave," he said hollowly to the 3 females coming up to him and the girl. Confused Bastilla was about to ask why when she saw his eyes. So much pain, she thought. She also saw a resolve in them, and awareness flooded her as she now knew what he was about to do. "No," she yelled. "We can save her. Take her to the Jedi Masters, they can wipe her memories," she continued. Naruto heard the guilt and the truth in her words. Looking up, he saw her look guiltily at Sar and then the girl. Naruto used a rare jutsu from the Jubi's memories that it came up with before it went insane. He saw into Bastilla's mind and then turned to Sar to do the same. He felt tired, whether here or in his world other people loved their weapons and creating them from people that trust them. People like him. Sar and Bastilla were pawns to anyone, be they Jedi, Sith, or ninja elders. He delved past the blocked memories of Sar and saw why she did it and found an evil Preza. NCE and not so evil multiple presences that had programmed Sar in 2 ways, and as the old memories came back the 2 programmings warred with each other. He tore both out so no one could control her. He knew that her memories would surface faster than before. Finished, he walked over to Bastilla, Sar none the wiser of what he did. He whispered to Bastilla, which made her eyes widened at what he said. "Sar, or should I say Revan, will Nev's control again. She is getting her memories back. They lied to you that they were gone and that she was nothing but a husk. You know what must be done." Tears filled her eyes and she told him shakily, "I'll do it. It has to be me. I allowed her to come with us when her master forbid her to leave before he came back." She walked to the motionless girl and knelt. Down, putting her lightsaber against her chest where her heart is, and turned the blade on. Bastilla looked at the Jedi girl and saw clarity return to the girl's eyes. She saw a peaceful expression on her face, and the girl whispered, "Thank you," before the light left her eyes and Bastilla turned her blade off. Bastilla dropped her saber and held the girl's corpse and started to cry. Mission also had tears, but Sar comforted her. Naruto saw the shock in Bastilla's eyes and saw her about to pass out from the trauma she just endured. He lifted her as a clone took the girl's body and sealed it in a scroll. Several clones came into existence and Naruto handed Bastilla to one. Mission: Sar, go with the clones, they will take you to a transit shuttle above and to the hideout. I will deal with Gaiden myself. Do not tell the other two what occurred. With that, Naruto left the girls at the entrance, killing any black Vulcars in the way. Mission and Sar had made it to the transit point, the only one in the lower city, and made it to the hideout and putting Bastilla on a bed as she was still asleep. Karth wanted to know what happened, but the two females kept a tight lip to what happened and thoughts of what Naruto was to have these powers that no one had even heard of or seen before. Sar was restless and needed to burn her anger out, so she told the others she was going to the cantina. When she got there, she decided to fight in the dueling ring again, hoping to get her frustrations out. Sar fought both Ice and Marl and won easily, but had sweated a little fighting the Rhodian named Twitch. As Shish, he still had energy to burn but no one who fight. She asked the Hutt who would be willing to fight. When he told her that maybe Bendik Starkiller, she smirked as a rage filled her and she wanted to kill him. She went to challenge him, which after taunting him he agreed. Seats were sold out and every vidscreen occupied for the death match of Sar and Bendik. Both stood in the center of the ring waiting for the announcer to finish his speech, and tensed as the words, "Let the death match begin," were said. Both stood still for a few seconds before Bendik made the first move and threw a grenade at her. She moved to the left, just missing the blast radius of the now known plasma grenade. She dodged 3 more times, getting closer to Bendik until he ran out and started to fire his custom blasters. R used a holdout blaster and hit one of the blasters of Bendik's, which caused Bendik to throw it at her moving form as she moved gracefully to dodge the blaster fire. The blaster exploded, obscuring Sar, and she came into close range and thrust it into the chest armor of Bendik. The audience and Bendik was shocked as the smoke cleared and everyone saw a vibrosword sticking out of the chest of Bendik. Bendik looked at the woman who beat him and widened his eyes beneath his helmet and mouth one word that no one would ever know, as her now recognized her by the look in her eyes and her facial expression. Bendik fell back dead and Sar felt a sort of peace enter her as she felt fulfilled a promise to someone. Her adrenaline faded and she started to hear cheers from the crowd while the announcer LLED the Bendik Starkiller was dead and she was the champion duelist of Taris. Sar went to collect her prize and also went to get the bounty from Zax, which totaled 5,000 credits. She then went back to the hideout, finally drained enough to rest. Meanwhile, while that was going on, Naruto and an army of clones converged on the hidden Beck base. The Rhodian guard for Zax Cantina went inside to tell the OWNER what he saw as the guard in front of the hidden Beck base was killed. Naruto blasted the door with a mini Bijudama beam, turning it into scrap. As the smoke from the blast and the debris cleared, hidden Beck saw hundreds of the same person pour out of the wreckage of the doorway. Blaster fire and sparks from swords meeting along with blood spray was what one would see on the recordings from the hidden Beck base. This went on for an hour until Naruto made it to the cells for the two he was looking for. He knew that as he had made his way here that the other Becks who survived was converging in the main room as his last clone was defeated by them there. He found both the females nearly naked but untouched so far, both looking at him in shock and fear as they saw him kill the guards bloodily. Zerdra was shocked as she saw a blood-covered humanoid kill the 2 guards who were contemplating raping her as the girl was off limits. She put the girl behind her as the being tore the cell door off like nothing. She could make out 2 animal-like ears on top his head and saw 10 flowing tails behind him. "If you want to leave, come with me. Sar sent me," the male's voice said in a husky tone. She nodded but kept the girl between her and the male. She felt attracted to the male but she was wary, so she asked as they left, seeing the carnage and destructive path that lead to the entrance, "Why did she not come?" Naruto looked back at her as they walked. She had a few things that needed to be done and needed rest. Zerdra was shocked. "You came alone and did this?" What are you? Naruto chuckled. You know you are the first to ask me that question. What am I? I will answer yours and the others' questions as soon as we get to a place that we are not in danger. They came out and Za. Erdra felt fear as she saw Gaiden and a human woman with 50 others all about the room. You are not going anywhere. Gaiden stared but was stopped and his head fell off. Mission sends her regards, Naru. To growled, and with that he flashed to each member of the Bex and killed them instantly. Zerdra had many questions running in her mind as she knew no one, not even Jedi, were that fast. Naruto had AC Lone that was with Saur and the others that they couldn't see, and got the memories of the clone seeing Saur beat the dueling ring and killing the Mandalorian who Naruto knew from Sayer's blocked memory. S is a monster who needed killing as she met him, well his handiwork before and the promise she made to a little boy's mother who was dying from experimentation done to her. The three left to a trans. It point and went to the hideout that the clone had seen from following in Sayer's more recent memories. Hideout Upper City Apartments, Taris Naruto's POV. Naruto walked into the now crowed apartment Eing Bastilla and Saur talking about the dreams that Saur was having. Shaking his head he went towards the bathroom area to clean off the blood. Bastilla's eyes widened as she saw Naruto covered in blood walking across her vision's path. Saur looked to see what Bastilla was looking at and was shocked at the sight she saw. She let out a gasp which alerted the others and they all saw the gore on Naruto along with two barely clothed females. Mission had went to the two females holding two blankets to cover up, but Naruto waved her away as he spoke. These two need to shower the grime off first, so I will let them use the shower first. He led the two females into the bathroom and opened a scroll, and out popped several kimonos and a few sets of female ninja gear. Try these after you are clean, if no, nay fit tell me so I alter the seals to fit you better. With that Naruto left standing outside so no one would disturb them. I will tell you all everything when we are not in any danger, he said to T. He grouped before they stared to ask all the questions. He was glad none had, although he knew Saur and Mission were being patient as he knew they wanted to know. He had already told Bastilla some things, but not where he came from or what he was. The group had been fighting or in danger constantly, and he could feel more brewing as his explanation would take several hours. 30 minutes later the two females came as the clothing's bust lines were too small. The girl wore a pale blue kimono with vibrant green sakura petals. It was one of his mother's he found that she wore on her first date with Minato from what her journal said. Zerdra held up a Kumo Kunoichi Genin uniform that was worn by Yugito Ni that she gave him to infiltrate Kumo at the time. The only thing wrong with this one is the bust is too small, other than that it fits, she told him. He took it from her, putting Yuki into the seals on the chest area of the uniform. He gave it back and Zerdra went inside. She came out a few minutes later wearing the snug uniform that had him and the other two males hard instantly. Naruto went to shower the mostly dried gore from his body, and an hour later he came out. Having tails or rag to clean, he thought, as it took longer to clean himself than normal. A clone gave him information that he found interesting. He came out as an argument between Bastilla and Karth was in full force. He saw Saur calm them both down. So what was the argument for? Naruto asked Mission. Karth wanted to kick you out as you were too dangerous to be around, explained Mission. What about Zerdra and the girl? As he was confused, he said they were on their own, that only those who could be of use to the Republic could stay. That's when the argument started. Mission told him. Well, his true colors show, thought Naruto. Well guys, a man by the name of Candaris Ordo wants to see me and Saur. He told the others after his conversation with Mission. Mission was shocked, but Zerdra was the one who spoke. The Mandalorian who works for Davik Kong. That Candaris? She asked. Naruto shrugged. I guess it was a message from a Twi'lek who gave it to me. He said well to my clone, but who cares? Naruto continued. Something tells me that meeting him will get us off planet. They discussed what to do but not who else should go until Naruto had enough. Saur and Zalabar will go meet this Candaris and see what he wants. No one could see any fault with that, as Bastilla and Karth needed to figure a way off the planet without being shot down. So the three left to meet this mysterious man. The TREO stopped at the Equipment Emporium to sell unwanted weapons, armors, and other items, making their total credit amount almost $1 million to the shop owner. Continuing to the cantina in Upper Terrace Nar. Yuto congratulated Saar on her victories in the dueling ring. Saar blushed at the praise, but she also felt a little guilt in killing the Mandalorian Bendik Starkiller, which she voiced to Naruto. There are reasons he had a bounty on him, Saar. If not you, someone would have done it. Naruto told her. Saar felt a little better as he made sense. They had got into the cantina when Saar saw the man they needed to meet. That's him, she whispered to Naruto. Naruto saw the man and he was imposing. Not to him, but also the memories of Saar did not do the man justice, as she was not this close to him before. Naruto could see an air of honor and justice in the man, which confused him, as he didn't know why a man like him would follow the crime lord Davik Kong. Maybe as if was the only way to kill with some honor. As Candaris also wore a cloak of death around him that most powerful predators had. You wanted to see us, Mandalorian? Asked Saar. Yeah, I am Candaris. I heard what you did to the Vulcars. He said to Saar, then looking at Naruto said, and I saw the vids of what you did to the Beks. Impressive. Naruto gave him a look that said, just get with it before I kill you for wasting my time. Candaris had heard of people like this Naruto that could kill without caring about who you were just for bothering them. Kalo Nord had somewhat the same attitude, but nowhere near what this guy could do. Well, I know you and your group are looking for a way off the planet, and I know how we can. But to get past the Sith blockade you need the launch codes to do it. He said before continuing. At the get to the point look from the male alien. The codes are inside the now overrun Republic base, and as I know you can handle yourself, you can get them. You just need an astromech droid to get in the base. Which I happen to have one. He said proudly. He gave them the location of the droid and how much they needed to pay for it. Just tell Janice Null I sent you and she will sell it to you. Now this needs to be done as quick as possible. I have heard rumors that the Sith might bomb the whole planet just to kill a Jedi they are looking for, which I know is with you. Sensing no deception from Candaris, Naruto agreed to do it and the trio left to go to the droid shop. Getting to the shop, the Twi'lek female known as Janice Null sold the droid to them after flirting with Naruto. Saar had started to become jealous but stamped it out, as she had no reason to be jealous, as Naruto and she were not even intimate. They took the astromech, whose designation was T3M4, to the military base and hacked in. They met a Twi'lek female who was bribed leave and not sound the alarm. She left and Naruto had the droid overload several conduits to kill off or destroy the Sith and battle droids in the base. Naruto thought it was funny that as he watched Sith go up to the deactivated droids to see why they shut off before the droids exploded, kill several groups. They had found a Duros dead inside of a force cage that had been near an exploding droid. Naruto only saying, oops. Naruto had the astromech hack into the mainframe, downloading anything of value. The droid showed a message that was Zhu T sent down by an Admiral Saul Kareth that the planet was being evacuated as a bombardment will commence in 14 hours. When Naruto heard this he cursed, but a plan formed in his mind to save as many in. Sent people he could and he knew where to put them. Naruto told Saar the plan and she was shocked but also knew somehow he could do it. The four encountered a droid which was not destroyed, as it was a Sith droid instead of the droids that were once Republic droids. They destroyed it after 10 minutes and made their way down an elevator and found themselves inside a room with a bald man inside. The man looked up as they entered and smiled. I feel you two have much potential in the Force. Join the Sith and you will hold untold power. Sorry we don't do evil, said Naruto in a jovial tone. Its eyes hardened at the brush off and spoke. Very well then, witness the power of the Dark Sea. The Sith dodged a blade that would have taken his head from Naruto before he could finish the sentence. Enough with the monologue. Naruto yelled he hated the bad guys who monologued. T3M4 got a shot off that narrowly missed Naruto and hit the Sith in the leg, crippling it. Saar and Zalabar got a.s. hot of at the same time, one hitting the head, the other from Saar hitting between the Mont's legs. Naruto and Zalabar and even the droid looked at Saar. What? She yelled at their looks. Naruto shook his head. Never, and I mean never, shoot a male between the legs near another male that is on your side. Naruto knew that one reason the Mandalorians feared her was she always used her lightsaber to ca straight the male ones before killing them. She got a nickname from the female Mandalorians that Naruto would never repeat or say. Naruto got the codes and the group left to go to the hideout. 1 to T-Saur and Zalabar rest in 2 to contact Candaris. Naruto and the others walked in with another argument going on. This time between Mission and Karth. Damn, Tem has to fight with everyone, Naruto thought. All I am saying is it's too dangerous for a kid to be in battle like ours, so you should stay on Taris when we leave. Karth argued. Sorry to interrupt, but Mission grew up alone and she has fought with us and even killed Karth. Naruto said harshly to him. Embarrassed at being reprimanded, he walked to a corner and sulked. Naruto shook his head at that. Okay, so all of you but me, Zerdra A. NDT-3M4 stay here but meet us outside at the crashed escape pod in 6 hours. The Sith are going to bomb the planet. He ordered. Protests rang out from all but 3 and Naruto yelled, Lee wants 3 peep. Let him meet him in the cantina in the lower city, as it will arouse suspicion when we steal the ship. With that, Naruto and the 2 he wanted left. Before they left on the transit, he made thousands of CL1s and the clones spread out the plan already in their minds. The new trio left on the shuttle. On the shuttle, Zerdra asked, why me? Naruto looked at her side and spoke, because you need to get out and fight through your pain and not feel helpless again. I know you are a fighter and you feel like you're powerless now after what Gaiden did to you. Zerdra thought at what he said as they got out of the shuttle and made their way to the cantina to meet Candaris Ordo. He's right, she thought. Just because Gaiden got the drop on me does not mean I can't fight. I just trusted Gaiden too much and looked up to him as we grew up together. He shoulders that had a submissive posture to them before now straightened to the proud fighter that she was. Naruto smirked as he felt the female Twi'lek's street ants change from a defeated and depressed person to a dominant and aggressive fighter. Naruto saw Candaris at a table and sat down in an empty seat across from Candaris. T3M4 rolled behind Naruto. ND Zerdra sat leaned against a wall like she was Naruto's bodyguard. Candaris sat down a drink on the table he was drinking and looked at Naruto. So you got the codes? He said like he knew that Naruto had them. Naruto nodded and just stared at Candaris before he spoke. The Sith are evacuating their troops and will destroy the planet in about half a day. Candaris' eyes widened at that. Damn, I knew they would sooner or later. Malik started this just recently, so we need to get the ship now. He said, draining the drink he had before getting up. Yes, I have told the rest of the group to meet us outside at the crashed escape pod at a certain time. We will pick them up from there. Naruto told Candaris while also telling him about what he was doing to ensure that at least some people will survive. Candaris thought it was a stupid plan as they wouldn't have enough time to save enough people and told him that. Are you crazy? We can't do that. The Sith would know we know and just bow MB the planet piece by piece starting here. At most you would be able to save about 100 if not less than that. Candaris shouted as they made their way out to a shuttle that Candaris had waited to take them to Davik's place. Naruto just looked at him. I have my ways, he said before climbing in the shuttle. T3M4 got in the back as the shuttle had an empty truck bed in the back. Zerdra got in next and had to sit on Naruto's lap while Candaris got in the driver's seat. Naruto felt himself harden as he felt Zerdra's shapely rear move on him. Zerdra felt his length press against her ass cheek and blushed, but also getting wet as she felt attracted to him. As the shuttle truck made its way to Davik's place, she wiggled on Naruto's lap as she wanted to feel him more and trying to get his pulsating length to press against her center. Naruto bit back a groan but growled into her ear as she continued to move. If you continue this course once we are alone, I will take you hard and fast. Acking her gasp as he pulled one of her brain tails. Candaris heard her and looked over to see a flushed Zerdra and asked, you okay over there? Zerdra shuddered as a small orgasm hit her when Naruto pulled her brain tail and his hardened length hit her center at the same time. She spoke in a slightly relaxed voice, yes, Naruto accidentally pulled one of my leku. Candaris smirked as he saw they were almost there. He knew that voice most Twi'lek females have it after that climaxed, and he should know as he had been with numerous Twi'lek females. Oh okay then, we are pulling up now, he told them. Naruto saw the mansion as that was what it looked like as they pulled into an empty spot outside. The group got out and Candaris lowered the rear bed to let the droid off before raising it again. The group made their way inside past numerous Rodian guards and into an antechamber that had 4 people in it. 2 Rodians and 2 men. Zerdra shuddered as she Saw one of the men. Kalo Nord was a sociopath of the highest order. And a wannabe bounty hunter, she thought. The group walked up to the men and Candaris introduced them. Davik, I brought some new recruits that I thought you might recognize. Candaris said. Ah yes, the beautiful Zerdra, the second in command of the Hidden Becks. Well, the ex-second in command as Gaiden betrayed you. And the mysterious Naruto Uzumaki who single-handedly slaughtered the Becks. Pretty gory to watch, let me tell you. Davik praised. Tell me though, how do you make those copies of yourself? No one, not even Jedi or Sith, could do that. Kalo's eyes raised a touch at that intro. Naruto looked at Davik, not liking him at all, before answering. Well, he wanted to sell the females in our group to slavers and kill us males, so I killed him first. Naruto said as if it was an everyday thing. This raised the interest of Davik at the tone. And well, about my clones. It's a trade secret, something only I can do, as I am the last of my race and I can't teach it to you because, well, I just don't know how. A pity, with power like that you could take over the entire planet, maybe even more. Davik said. So you wish to join the exchange, do you? Asked Davik. Yes. Naruto lied. Good, first we will give you a tour of my operations before getting a business-like. Davik said. Davik showed Naruto and Zerdra the spice labs and other things he did on the planet before showing them his ship. Ah, the Ebon Hawk, it is the fastest ship in my fleet and can outrun capital-class vessels. I am still trying to get the launch codes to leave the planet in case the Sith turn on us. Davik explained. With that they left the hangar and made their way to the living quarters. Nice setup you have, Davik, Naruto said. Yes, well, if your backgrounds check out then you can join us. In the meantime stay in this room, but you can go see the slaves to relieve your tensions if needed. Come, Kalo. With that Davik and Kalo along with the Rhodian guards left. After a few minutes Candaris opened the door. It will take about 4 hours to get the backgrounds of all of our group checked. In the meantime I will go see about relieving some tension with the Twi'leks. We move in 3 hours. He said, leaving, and the door closed. Alone with Naruto, Zerdra looked at him and called him. Naruto. Yes. Naruto said, looking at her. He saw the lust in her eyes and her arousal filled the air. I want you. She growled at him before she stood and locked the door so they would not be disturbed. She sauntered to him, hips swaying before straddling him as he was on a bed sitting. Nar. Yuto grabbed her face before she kissed him. Zerdra, before we do this there is something you must know. He said seriously, trying to calm his own libido down to talk to her. I am different from Oth. RS and the last of my kind. I need to have multiple mates to repopulate my race. He looked at her before continuing. If you do not want to be a part of that, this can only be a one-time thing. He finished. Zerdra's mind raced at the thought of other females. Twi'lek culture had no problems with multiple partners and she grew more aroused at the thought of more females. All Twi'leks were bisexual. Not just the females, and the images of more females entwined with Naruto in bed made her soak the undergarments she wore under the uniform he gave her. She looked at Naruto and smirked. Naruto, Twi'leks are bisexual and me more so. I love having 2 females and a male in bed with me occasionally. Now fuck me, she growled before pouncing on him. Another hour later both woke and got dressed as Naruto noticed it was close to the time. He looked at the 2 sitting down and smirked. They must have had a good time, he thought. We move in 10 minutes, he said. He looked at the messed up room as chairs were knocked over. So you 2 had fun, I see. He gave a laugh at the blushes from them both. It must have been good, as I heard it all the way down. Girls, they're jealous when I told them that it was another female Twi'lek screaming. They also became a lot more amorous, which I thank you both for. He continued. Naruto stammered. Let's just go now. Sooner we get his done, the sooner we can leave the planet. While Naruto mentally banged his head at not putting up a silencing seal on the room. Making a hand sign, he said, Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu. This created 20 clones of himself. Alright, spread out, kill all who try to stop you. The clones said. Hi, and left. Seeing the look of surprise on Candaris' face and the awe and questions about to start, he said, later I will explain. With that the group left, alarms ringing as the group made their way to the ship. They had found a man who was being held inside a force cage guarded by 2 floating many-armed droids who attacked them. They destroyed them and Candaris went to release the man from the cage. Thanks, man, said the man. Why were you in there? asked Zerdra. I was the pilot of the Ebon Hawk. When the Sith came, Davik tried to leave before more ships arrived to blockade the planet, but the Sith arrived as I was powering up. Davik said I was trying to steal the ship and would be punished for it. The man explained. Well, you need to leave this place, said Candaris. I will, thanks again. Oh, I have the codes to activate the hyperdrive if you plan on taking the ship, as that is the only reason you would be attacking Davik. The man said, giving the codes to Naruto. Naruto and the others left, finding themselves in a luxurious room with a massive computer to the side. Naruto finally got the memories of every clone but two. Those in Davik's mansion were defeated in the spice lab. Only one Rodian left inside, but he was slowly dying anyway. The clones all over the immediate area that went around Gat, herring supplies and people to save and taken to a safe place had all been dispelled. One of the last two was addressing the people they saved, and the other was with Saur and the others. Naruto made a snap decision. T3M4 hack into the accounts of Davik and bring everything up. The droid followed his command and went to the massive computer and pulled up the information. Make an identity for me, with the name Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and transfer all money and future legal businesses to that ID in all properties. He saw a storehouse under a property by the name Maddle and the codes to get it unlocked. He also found several slave pens that Davik had and had the astromech transfer it to him and send a message to free the slaves, giving them money and transport where they needed to go. He had the droid transfer a list of all clients and partners and people of interest. With that done, they started to run as the place started to shake from what felt like earthquakes but were in fact the Sith. They are staring early, yelled Candaris. They must have decided not to wait or something. Zerdra yelled out as the explosions and rumbling sounds were too loud. Thank Kami, I told the Grow. Up to meet us at the area early, thought Naruto. They ran into the hangar, seeing Davik and Kalo also running toward the Ebon Hawk as turbolaser fire rained down onto the planet. Damn those Sith, I knew they would turn on us sooner or later. We just need to get to a safe place with our ships. Those bombs the Sith are dropping will kill us all, Davik said until he noticed the group. Well, thieves in the hangar. What did you think, that you could just steal my ship? Sorry, but that ain't gonna happen, Davik said, drawing his blaster along with Kalo. Naruto chuckled, yay, pretty much, while also stealing your livelihood as I already did. Davik's eyes hardened at those words and started to fire at him. Naruto and the others fought him until a turbolaser hit the spot where Davik was, incinerating him to nothing. Kalo held a thermal detonator and said, if I die, you die. But another blast made a beam of metal fall on the man. Naruto and the others got on the ship, and Naruto told T3M4 to get the ship online and the hyperdrive on. They got the ship online just as the hangar started to collapse and barely escaped as a beam fell on the now shielded ship. They made their way to the plaza. Naruto had the ramp open as he saw the others. Mission, Karth, Saur, Bastilla, Zalabar and the girl made it on the ship. The Ebon Hawk made it off the now burning Taris and made its escape into hyperspace. Before a group of fighters could attack, leaving at least 100 ships still firing on the planet. Mission had run to the starboard cabin quarters as they entered hyperspace. She had just watched and did nothing as the planet that she had called home for so long had been destroyed. Thousands of innocent people died, and her friends that she ran with before Zalabar had come into the picture were now dead. In the cockpit area, Bastilla was telling Naruto and Saur about the Enclave and how much she loved the peaceful planet. It's a beautiful place. The whole planet is nothing but preserves and farming land. There is also some hunting areas near the south of the planet. The Enclave is placed inside a preserve near several farms that are allowed near the preserve, Bastilla said. What animals are inside the preserves? Asked Naruto. Bastilla was stunned at first. No one had ever asked her that, and as such she didn't know most of the animals, just the ones she has seen around, which were mostly predators. Well, I only know of those around the Enclave. We have several different species of kath hounds and some irios. Also some flying mantis. Could not find out what those flying creatures were on Dantooine. If you know, let me know. And some kinrath spiders in some caves. But that's all I know of, though I know that we have about 100 different animals all over the planet. Bastilla told Hi. Am embarrassed, as she was known to research each planet she travels to but never considered Dantooine. Well, I need to check on Mission, as she just saw her home destroyed along with those she knew. Naruto said before walking out. Her heard Saur asked Karth how long till they reach the planet, and Naruto heard Karth say 4 days before leaving his enhanced hearing distance. He found Mission on a bed crying as he walked in. Mission felt someone sit on the edge of the bed and an arm rub her back slowly. Turning around and sitting up, Mission saw Naruto and she leaned into him, making Naruto put his arms around her, making Mission relax into him even more from the warmth of his body. All of those I knew are dead, Mission sobbed as tears came down her face again as the memories of those she hung out with surfaced again of all the fun they had. Naruto pulled away, making Mission look him in the eyes. No, they are not, Naruto told her. I also had Janice, Null, Rukal, Shalina and Zelka co-leaders. And a list of those who would be good candidates to be new leaders, Naruto finished, as it would take at least 20 years to get dug out of the rubble. But the small city would be able to support them for at least 400 years, if not a little less if they had a population boom. Naruto pulled out of her after 10 minutes and saw an assassin's dagger tattoo on her neck where he bit her. He pulled the blanket onto her when he smelt another female's arousal. Turning around, he saw to his shock Saur with a flush face. Before she left, she told him, I want you next time, Naruto. And left. Naruto saw her sway her hips seductively as she left before he could respond. Mission woke a few minutes later and saw Naruto getting dressed. Naruto saw that Mission was awake. Get dressed, I need to talk to the crew about what I told you and about who and what I am. I know you probably have questions too about me, Naruto told her. Mission felt soreness between her legs and got up slowly. You will be sore for a day or two until we can do this again, Naruto said as he saw her wince as she got dressed. Once Mission was dressed, they left Naruto, canceling the jutsu and sound seal but leaving the seal there for later. They walked into the main area and found the others there. Okay, I know you all have questions of what I can do, Onda said, making those who were talking stop to look at him. Naruto first explained what he did on Taris on saving a few hundred people. The group was shocked at what he did, even Mission is still shocked. Zerdra knew what Mission and he did as she saw Mission walk with a wince, and she knew it was her first time. Though she was sore for a few minutes after Naruto and she coupled. Now, Naruto said, bring the attention to him again. I am from a different dimension. I am called as my title the Jubi or Tentails. He then explained his world and its history. He also told them about the 3 gods that his people worshipped. Nami, goddess of war and destruction, the Shinigami, who was also a goddess though his people worshipped her as a god of death and rebirth, and the most important Kami, the goddess of life and creation. He told them that there were minor gods and goddess, and that the bloodlines that his people got were actually gifts, as those who had them were the children of all the gods and goddess. He said that his mother and father were demigods, as one of they. Our parents was a god, and in his mother's case the goddess Kami. Now the Uzumaki, his mother's clan, had a dojutsu that was called the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan only came to be as a man named the Sage of the 6 Paths. Parents and 1 grandparent were each a demigod child of the 3 elder goddess Kami, Nami, and Shinigami, which had never happened before. Naruto's father Minato was the child of 2 gods, a mortal god who lost her power called Amaritetsu, and the other an insane god named Jashin. In fear of retaliation they stripped their son of his immortality, giving it to the once immortal Amaritet Su, and now mortal goddess, making her immortal again, and giving the child to an orphanage. Minato still had his powers though and became the most powerful ninja since the sage. He told them of the original Jubi that was once the eldest god called Yami, who hated his sisters, decided to kill the creations of his sisters. They with the help of the sage sealed the body of their brother and split the Nari in 2 parts, going to Nami, who became the new god, or in her case goddess of destruction, as that was their brother's domain, and the rest being sealed into the sage, which before his death he split into 9 parts using his Rinnegan and making the Biju. He told them how the humans in his world treated the new guardians as that was what they were meant to be, but became weapons of war against each other, and the cycle of hate began anew. So when I thought I had brought peace after the 4th Shinobi War, another started, but this time about religion. I guess the gods had a war too, as only a few were left after the 5th war. Only 800,000 people, civilians and shinobi, were all that were left after that last war. Naruto said to them. He saw the odd looks and the horror and pity on some of the faces. Sawyer was the one to ask. So why are you here? Naruto looked at her harshly and said, the ones who I called family killed my love and unborn child in front of me all because they wanted to seal me inside someone else. Apparently Kami had enough and sent me here to her first dimension that she and her siblings created. He said, making all of the others stare at him in shock. Seeing this, he told them what he was told about the Force and the gift that she and the others gave him. He didn't think it would go over well if he told them what it cost to get all this power. Oh, he would tell his mates in time. After all, trust was key, he thought. So, Bastilla started Jedi and Sith are using a goddess life force as the Force. That is what you are telling me, she said, disbelieving what she heard. Oh, so you believe me about where I came from, but that is what freaks you out the most? Naruto joked. When he heard her tone, Naruto knew he had to let the conversation and explanation simmer inside them until they could adjust. Though Candaris and the Wookiee was closer to understanding what he told them. Mission and Zerdra just took it in stride. Now, before we are dismissed, I would like to know something, Naruto said, interrupting the thoughts of the others. What? Asked Candaris. Naruto looked at the preteen alien girl who just looked at Naruto. Who are you, little one, and why were you being sold to slavers? Zerdra was the one to talk. Her mother was a Jedi Master who was killed in the Mandalorian War. A family friend took her in but sold her to Gaiden, who was selling her to the Sith as she showed Force powers. This made Bastilla gasp. She knew of only one Mirielon Jedi Master. She didn't know her name, but she knew of her. The girl spoke for the first time in a sweet adult-like voice. My name is Kali Malish. My mother was Jalia Malish, a Jedi Master, and the reason I was sold is my species are natural lovers. As I have yet to become a woman, if a male lays me the first time, his age is halted, but he will die when he reaches 400, as it also extends his life if his race is short-lived. She explained. Naruto decided to protect her and would talk with her later. Bastilla said the Jedi would take her in most likely, but Kali refused, saying she would stay with Naruto as he saved her and her race's laws stated that just like Wookiees she had a life debt to him. Plus, before her mother left, she told her never to join the Jedi or Sith as they would use her other power as a weapon. She decided to tell Naruto later about her power. Naruto decided to talk to Bastilla before they got to Dantooine about Sawyer, as the group needed to rest and come to terms with all they learned. 3 days later, Naruto and the others arrived in the system that the planet Dantooine was on. Naruto had just finished mating with Sawyer and his other mates for several hours. And Naruto needed to talk with Bastilla. Bastilla Pav. Ebon Hawk. Bastilla was tired. She didn't sleep a bit. Asked night, as every time she closed her eyes memories along with sensations came to her. Flashback no jutsu. Kai flashback. Bastilla had felt the emotions from Sawyer through the bond they shared and went to investigate as she was not in her bed that she slept in. It was then that she found Naruto and Sawyer together in the medbay. Bastilla had never seen two people couple before. Oh, she read stories and seen holovids that would, if the elder Jedi had found out that she had them, she would be punished. She wanted to join Sawyer in the pleasure she had found, but she would not break the Jedi code, though it was unwritten that Jedi Knights and Masters could find partners during missions. Bringing herself out of those thoughts, she saw Sawyer along with Zerdra in mission with her. She saw the well-fucked look in their eyes and bodies. She also saw from each of them a tattoo that wasn't there before. A blade of some kind with wisps of smoke around it on mission, a blaster and sword on Zerdra, and 2 lightsabers on the neck of Sawyer. Which made Bastilla slightly panic that Naruto had told her. But she saw no anger in Sawyer's eyes toward her, just a hint of lust. The girls were ready to disembark the ship and see Dantooine, she could tell. Naruto came over to her. Bastilla, I would like to talk with you before me and you meet the council, he said to her. Okay, she said. Naruto and Bastilla went inside a side room. Naruto made some hand signs. Seeing her questioning gaze, he said, so we won't be overheard. Bastilla was relieved. So what do you want to talk about, Naruto? Revan. Naruto said the one word she dreaded at this time. Oh, she didn't hate Revan, in fact she loved her if she could voice it to someone. Bastilla was about to deny that Sawyer was Revan, but Naruto interrupted her before she could. When we go to see the council, they will have a week to tell her, or I will. Naruto to her like it was a done thing. But what if she started. Her mind before the Jedi blocked her memories and programmed a new one in. Was altered by another before them, but I removed its influence on her. He explained. Bastila was shocked. It explained so much about how Revan was before the Mandalore War and after when she disappeared. Then her mind caught the part that the Jedi Masters block force programming. Wait, the Masters wouldn't do that. It's EEV, she started to say but could not finish the words. Evil, dark. The Jedi Masters might not be who you think they are, they might just be stupid. He told her. I mean, just look at you. You are the only Jedi so far that can do battle meditation. They trained you to use it. He said. Now why would peacekeeping Jedi train another to use a power only meant for killing? They even trained you before the Mandalorians started to attack and way before Revan became dark. Why would they do that unless they wanted to use you against their enemies? He continued, trying to get her to see them for what they were. He could see the inner turmoil and the doubt in her. Just think about it. You never know, I might be wrong, or, he said. Or I might be right, he finished. Canceling the jutsu, he left her to contemplate what he told her. Bastila was having a war within herself as the doubts she had before Revan went dark came back full force. Why train me for war? Is that is the only reason for this power, to use it in massive battles? She started to cry inwardly as the thoughts of a dark or even evil Jedi Council. No, I won't believe it, she whispered to herself. As they had an hour till they landed, she thought of Naruto and the 3 females with him instead. She had always felt attraction to Revan, Sar, but now she was attracted to Naruto and the 2 Twi'lek females. She needed to get herself composed and get the body of the lone Jedi that she had to kill. She knew the council would punish her for not keeping her alive. But it was too dangerous, and as Naruto said, she will sooner or later remember. Naruto's POV. Jedi Enclave, Dantooine. When Naruto stepped out onto the landing platform, he saw several different things. One was all the people just hanging around. Twi'leks, humans, Rodians, and droids that looked like the ones he saw walking around giving information on Taris. 2, he saw floating balls that he assumed were droids also, but he noticed weapons on them. Must be security, he thought. The 3rd thing he saw was a pink and bluish but mostly pink sky with sparse clouds and what looked like flying stingrays. A creature on his world that lived in the oceans. They also have the whale-like features, he thought. He had seen a corpse of one before. He could also see a few rolling hills that had what looked like ruins on them. Must have been another race that lived here before, he guessed. Beautiful place, said Karth next to him. Naruto almost jumped when Karth spoke. Damn, I am getting sloppy, Naruto thought. Though Naruto and those also looking had to agree it was. It's a farming planet and a natural preserve, like I said before. Bastila spoke up, breaking the silence. Naruto just shook his head. He needed to break her of that snootiness. Bastila walked towards a door, motioning Sar and Naruto forward and to follow her. Naruto looked at the others and said, go find a shop and sell our unwanted items, and outfit yourselves with better weapons and equipment. Candace took the lead for that as he wanted to UPGR. Aid his custom heavy Mandalorian repeater and get some new armor. The others followed. The girls with gleams in their eyes which made Karth and the males that saw the looks shudder in fear. Naruto had followed but cursed when he noticed the stares from all of those who saw him. Damn, forgot to henge my ears and tails. He knew from talking with his girls that he was something no one had ever seen before. Sure, there were aliens in the past and now who had a tail and weird ears, but multiple tails and ears on top of your head were like taboo or something. It was becoming habit to leave them alone. As he thought, with different species everywhere, no one would notice him. Well, no one really did on Taris, but people were under Sith rule and it was a planet most everyone just took after themselves and their family. Oh well, Naruto shrugged. Naruto again cursed himself as he ran into Sar, who had been stopped by a woman. Need to pay more attention to my surroundings. Enko would have summoned a snake if she saw me do this. Kami Pav, Heavenly Realm. Please Kami-sama, just let me go down there and teach the Gaki a lesson. I thought I had trained him better. A purple-headed woman with a dango stick. K in her hand that she just broke, making the dango fall to the ground because of what Naruto did twice. No, if I do it for you I would have to do it for them, Kami said, pointing to a crowd of people waiting behind Anko. One of those was a red-headed woman with what looked like two bloody forms which she recognized as the Toad Sage and the fourth Hokage. Must have said something perverted. Well, could you send a snake after him? Anko asked innocently. We will see. Now I have all of this paperwork to get through, so all of you need to leave. Kami ordered. Damn Naruto, even in another world he gives me a headache. Kami thought. Naruto Pav. Jedi Enclave. Dantooine. Naruto shuddered as he felt he just barely got saved by Kami for some reason. He saw the woman was a Jedi. She had brown hair and brown almond-shaped eyes. May I ask why you have stopped us? Asked Naruto. As I asked your friend where are your robes, Padawan? Asked the woman harshly, not even looking at him. Sar spoke before Naruto could respond and get them in trouble. As I said, we are not Jedi, we came with Bastilla on the ship that just arrived. The woman got red in the face. Do you really expect me to believe that you are not Jedi? I feel the force running through the both of you, and she stopped herself as she got a look at Naruto and could tell he was not a Jedi because she had never seen his kind before. She felt embarrassed. Sar saw the glimmer of what looked like mischief in Naruto's face and eyes. She spoke again before Naruto could open up with a response and make this woman mad at them. Yes, that is W. Hi, Bastilla brought us here to see the masters here. She said quickly. The woman was embarrassed. I am sorry I spoke so harshly. My master tells me I speak before thinking. I am Balea, by the way. Spoke the now named female. She was really sorry, Naruto could tell, so he did not say anything more to get her mad at him. She was attractive though, he thought, but he smacked himself inwardly at the perverted ideas in his head. I am not a pervert, he thought. I hope you forgive me and have a nice stay on Dantooine. Balea said before leaving quickly so not to embarrass herself or the Jedi again. Naruto noticed Sar looking at him in disapproval. What? He asked as innocently as he could. Are you trying to get us in trouble or everyone to hate us? She said to him. Naruto thought about it. Well, no, I am not, but she reminded me of a guy the first knew from my world, and it was just I wanted to tease her and maybe get the stick out of her ass. He said, pouting. Sar just shook her head and walked way towards the area that Bastilla went to. Naruto just smirked, thinking he got the last word in. Naruto started to walk at a slower pace in the same direction and thought about what he would do. He needed to keep a handle on his emotions, as this could blow up in his face. Bastilla had told him of the two instances that his emotions went out of control and that she felt them as if it were her emotions. Sar and Karth had heard their conversation, and Karth mentioned on 2 occasions something happening to Sar. It was then that Bastilla wanted to get Naruto and Sar to the Jedi Masters at the Enclave and trained in the Jedi arts. Naruto decided to agree with Bastilla just to see if these Jedi were just Sith in Jedi robes or idiots. Naruto walked into the audience chamber and found 4 males inside. One was a purple Twi'lek in a paler shade of purple than Zerdra. 2 were humans, both old, one with dark brown skin, the other a pasty white. The last was something he had never seen before, an elf. Looked like a cross between an elf and goblin from a book he read in his world. He searched in his mind and then remembered the name of such a creature. It was called a house elf, something like a servant to humans that had magical powers. The house elf looking ma voice, young Bastilla tells us you saved her from Sith troopers and healed her when she should have been dead. Naruto glared at a sheepish-looking Bastilla. There was no way she told them that in just a few minutes. Then he remembered that Bastilla sent a report ahead of them to the Jedi here and on Coruscant as per procedure. His glare vanished but reappeared as the white old man said something that pissed him off. Though you having Bastilla killing another Jedi was a move that a Sith would use. He said gruffly. Listen, you old W. In bag, the girl was broken not just in body but in her mind, spirit, and soul. He said angrily. I would have done it myself, but she wanted to do it as she felt responsible for the girl. And don't saw why you could suppress the memories, as I know all too well that sooner or later they will come back. Even before she got her memories back, her body would instinctively know what was done to it. He finished ranting. Seeing the looks of the council and the tears in Sar and Bastilla's eyes, he calmed down. Sorry, but I should know all about memory modification, as it was done to me and it was even better than what you Jedi could do. The male Twi'lek spoke. So the report said, but I feel we got off on the wrong foot and we should start over with introductions. I am Master Zar. These are Masters Vrook, pointing to the white male. Vandar the unknown alien, and the chronicler of this academy, Master Dorak. The other human male nodded, and we are the current Jedi Masters of this enclave. Naruto nodded as he knew it was his turn. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Sar went next. I am Sar Cernva, a smuggler working with the Republic military currently, or I was anyway. Bastilla didn't need to say anything as everyone knew her. So what exactly do you want with us too? Asked Sar. Bastilla tells us you both have strong force potential and you might be interested in joining the Jedi. Spoke Master Dorak. Naruto decided to speak, but Vrook interrupted. They are too old for training and could fall to the dark side if trained. They could even become like Revan. Surely you felt their strength in the Force. If we do not train them, then the Sith would find them and recruit them. Said Bastilla. We would never join the Sith or become like Revan. Sar spoke heatedly. Vrook spoke something that had a tinge of hatred in it. Are we sure Revan is truly dead, that Revan won't come back to haunt us? Naruto just stood there listening. He decided to let them come to a consensus. Enough, said Vandar. We will deliberate with the rest of the council and come to a decision. As of right now, we should allow these two to rest some more while Bastilla is debriefed once we contact the rest of the council. If that wasn't a dismissal, Naruto didn't know what was in him. Bastilla and Sar left, but Naruto left a clone. Clone Naruto Pav. Jedi Audience Chamber. What was that creature? Spoke Dorak. Once they made sure no one would interrupt them. I don't know, I have never seen someone like him before. One-tailed aliens I have seen and have been recorded, but some alien with multiple tails that can be used as arms are supposed to be fantasy. Said Vrook. The one we felt he is, Vandar spoke. Shocking the others. But that is impossible. How can something like him exist? No one has that much force potential, said Dorak. No mortal can hold that much power inside and not show it. Said Zar. So what, he is a god or just an aberration? Asked Dorak. We don't know, but we can't let him tell the female about who she is. Vrook said quickly. You mean was Vrook? Don't forget we wiped her mind to use her as a tool against the Sith. Said Zar. No, right, Vrook is. Said Vandar. Right as T. His Naruto as well. Already the blocks on her mind have started to erode. Disturbing it is that this Naruto was able to break our control over Revan and the hidden control of our master. We could do the same thing to this creature as we did to her. Vrook said. No, spoke Dorak harshly. He is too powerful for even the whole Jedi Council. You all felt it. Vandar and Zar agreed. Bastilla says he wishes to speak with us as soon as possible. Said Vrook. Then we will let him, but Bastilla will be there as well as he wants her to be there too. Spoke Zar. Will we train them? Asked Vrook. Yes, spoke Vandar. But not here. We need several masters to teach them as much as we can. We will allow them to explore Dantooine for a few days as the council members that are not on Coruscant as of right now will be finished with their missions and back at the temple. What of the Mirielon female that they found? Asked Dorak. Let her come to us. If she doesn't, well, we will send the master our location so she can get her for herself. Said Vrook. Sar Pav Ebon Hawk Dreamscape. Sar was in the middle of a war between the Republic and Mandalorians. In her hands she held two lightsabers, one purple, the other a pale red. She had looked at the lightsabers in her hand before starting to look up into a reflective glass pane, when her dream changed to what she knew to be Dantooine. In front of was an old ruin and an ancient door that had a shiver run up her spine. Are you sure we should do this, Revan? The masters of old sealed this place for a reason. Said a bald young male in an armored uniform. The one he talked to was a tall, dark, cloaked figure that paced in front of the door. Yes, said a mechanical voice. We will need the location of the voice was interrupted as she felt someone yell her name. The last thing she saw was a map of some kind before she woke up. Sar, wake up, Sar, yelled Mission as she jumped on her waking form. Sar saw Mission and felt her jumping on her legs in the bed that she laid on. Sar glared at Mission and growled, I hope you have a good explanation for waking me like this, you little blue hellion. Mission laughed at her words and told her Naruto wanted to see everyone else immediately. Sar got up, her lithe and muscular body stretching, and went over to the compartment under the ship beds to get her new Ichani light armor that she bought for 2,500 credits. Naruto had put some adjustment and reinforcement seals so it was more durable and fit her just right, as most suits and armor were on size fits all. But because of her stature most suits didn't work. Naruto POV. Ebon Hawk engine room. Naruto was meditating as he usually did since his sage training with the toads. He was going over all the information on Davik Kang's legal dealings and on his investments. Naruto knew he would be making an enemy with the exchange, but he didn't care, though he did find it interesting that Kong funded an honorable bounty hunter guild called the Black Talons. Though he would find out that the bounty hunters were paid with dirty credits that the bounty hunters used to purchase things which they bought at one of the exchange's many laundering business that cleaned the money and gave it back to Kong. Just as he was finishing his meditation, the clone that Naruto sent to spy on the council popped, and Naruto grew pissed as he now found out that the council is dirty. Probably not the whole council, but these men were the most senior members. Though he believed that the elf one Vandar was under some sort of mind control. I am sorry, but I cannot make one of Yoda's people evil. He cursed and sent a clone to wake the other beside Bastilla as she was in the academy sleeping. He went into the main compartment and waited for the others. Shortly after, he sent the clone Candaris, and the Wookiee walked in. 5 minutes later, Mission, Sar, and Zerdra. Callie was not a part of this meeting as she was still too young and might not understand some of what was going to be discussed. What is going on, Naruto? Asked Karth. Naruto at first did not want to have Karth in the meeting, but Karth would be needed for a while. If Naruto felt Karth was going to blow the whistle, so to speak, then Naruto would wipe his memory of the meeting and implant a new one using the Yamanaka mind techniques, as the Jubi had every jutsu in its memories that he inherited. Naruto looked at EVG. The Jedi Council has decided to send me and Sar to Coruscant for training. Not only that, they plan to give Callie to someone that they call their master. I do not believe that the master is a Jedi but a Sith. With those words, silence was all that engulfed them until Karth, whose face grew to an unhealthy shade of purple, turned around and walked out. Naruto now knew that Karth could not be trusted. Naruto continued to tell them some of the things the council spoke of and Naruto's own beliefs. Then Naruto dropped the bomb on them all. Revan is not dead and the council knows this. Spoke Naruto. What do you mean Revan's not dead? Shouted Mission. I mean that Revan did not die when she was attacked by Malik. And that Revan was not in control of her Actio. NS that caused her to attack the Republic, finished Naruto. Candaris spoke up next. I knew that the fight between you two was familiar. Candaris said this looking at Sar. Sar looked shocked and started to feel detached from herself as Karth's words that the Force could do terrible things to the mind, even wipe away memories. Suddenly she felt as though a dam burst in her as memories both good and bad flooded her mind. The pain in her head that had persisted since the attack on Brejik's base grew too much for her and she blacked out. Naruto saw the memories come flooding back to Sar and felt guilty that he triggered it. He saw her pain and then rushed to catch her as she fell unconscious. Naruto carried her to the medbay and put her down on the bed there, then went back into the main room where the others were, though he sent an invisible clone to stop Karth from doing anything rash. Well, as you saw, Sayer's memories came back, but it was too much for anyone to handle. Naruto told the others. He then went on to explain what happened to Revan and what he was planning to do about the Jedi Council. So do you all know what your jobs are? Asked Naruto. Zerdra spoke for the group. Me, Mission, Candaris, and Zalabar will go to the Outer Rim planet Fetist and start up the shipbuilding facility to build that ship you found from Davik. Then we will meet you on Dantooine in a AR and 3 months while the ship is being built. All the while you will be coping as much of the Republic military database and Jedi database as you can without getting caught, and see if the rest the Jedi are as corrupt as the ones here. Yes, though other things may crop up, but after we kill Malik for the Council, the Jedi will turn on us, so we will release any information we can about the sea eruption and go into the Outer Rim territories to hide. From the calculations I have, the ship will take about 2 years to complete along with the fighters and support ships. Naruto explained. Candaris then spoke. You will need men for the ships, and I know some people we could hire. They are honorable people. We will do that after the ships are completed. I don't want news of these ships to get out. It is a small fleet, but it will be powerful. Said Naruto. At least that's what Davik's records spoke of. Now everyone get some sleep, I have to talk to the council tomorrow about Sar. Stated Naruto. Everyone went to their areas of the ship to sleep. Naruto and his 2 Twi'lek mates slept together. Bastilla Pav. Bastilla had awakened from a dream about Revan and Malak inside some ruins that he recognized from her walks around the surrounding lands close to the Jedi Enclave. She went to the refresher and then sent a message to the Jedi elders in the Enclave about a vision with Revan and Malak in it. She made her way to the main meditation chamber and spoke to the elders about the vision she saw. Saar Pav. Saar awoke with her head feeling heavy and pounding as though she was hung over. The last thing she remembered was Naruto waking her up with a meeting to attend. A sharp pain shot through her brain as the words that Naruto spoke, "You are Revan." She remembered what he said and somehow knew it to be true. Some of the memories she had of her life did not mesh with events that happened around the galaxy. In fact, she could remember all of her childhood clearly even from the age of 1. She was always suspicious about that as the events of her joining the Republic military were fuzzy. "So you believe me when I spoke last evening?" Naruto asked in a whispered voice as he did not want to wake the others. Saar looked up at Naruto and thought before putting to words her thoughts. "I have had suspicions since I joined the Republic military. I have clear memories of my life and past. But some events that I was a part of I never found records of, or when I spoke of an event to another soldier they looked at me like I should not know of the event as they were there, but I wasn't and they knew that. Not only that, but me personally joining the Republic military is something I would not do as I believe it is corrupt." Saar explained. "Don't get me wrong, Naruto, most soldiers are good men and women, but the higher-ups are corrupt and look down on the grunts." Naruto looked at Saar. "Even though you have been through 2 force programmings, your core beliefs are still intact. Hitch shows the mind will not change easily," he said. Saar looked at Naruto and asked, "So what do I do? While I now know I am Revan, I only have images and flashes of memories. Will I ever be the person I was before?" "In time," Naruto spoke soothingly. "I will be meeting with the Jedi elders here and give them an ultimatum of a week to break the programming and let you become who you were meant to be." "But you said," Saar interrupted. "Yes, I broke the programming, but they don't know that, and if they did they would do anything to bring you under their power again." Naruto didn't let her finish. "You know who you are, but your mind needs time to heal from the unlocking of your true self along with reclaiming your powers and fighting form." Naruto continued after a slight pause, "My plan is simple. We will train to be Jedi. In that time you will slowly reclaim your powers and weapon skills. During that time I will be also training and learning about this galaxy. Once we defeat Malak, and we will be more than likely on the run from the Jedi and Republic. I should be able to find evidence and information that both the Jedi and Republic do not want to be known to the masses. We use this information to keep the Republic from branding us as criminals." Saar nodded as that sounded like a good plan and more than likely would work if she pretended to not know that she was the former Sith leader. Though if someone else told her who she was, then she could slowly show her power. Finally she spoke, "Okay, I will play along, and if possible. Oh, before I forget, when we're on Coruscant, I know of a cache I put there just before I first left the Jedi and joined the Republic. Only me and one other knew of it," she told Naruto as the memory for that popped up to the forefront of her mind. Though it may be empty after all this time, Naruto smirked at that, hoping that it still existed. "Okay, I need to go speak to the council. Walk in on the meeting in 20 minutes. With that, Naruto got up and left the ship to head to the Enclave to scare the elders and make them send them to the main Jedi temple on Coruscant before the week was out. Naruto thought that this would be a good revenge plan for Saar. Naruto Pav. Naruto walked into the main Jedi meditation chamber and pseudo Jedi Council meeting room to see all 4 of the Elder Jedi and Bastilla. "Good morning, Master Jedis," Naruto spoke in a cheerful tone before continuing to speak in a serious and cold voice. "Now that my greeting is done, let's get to the matter of why I am here." Bastilla's eyes widened at the way Naruto's voice changed from warm to cold in seconds. The Jedi present all narrowed their own eyes as he rudely burst into the meeting they were having with Bastilla. Vrook spoke harshly, "What is the meaning of this interruption? We were in a confidential." Naruto interrupted the old man, "I don't care. I am here to tell you I know that Saar is Revan. My demand is this: you are to remove the false implanted and tell Saar who she is, and to remove any implanted instructions you may have placed. Sooner or later her memories will resurface and she will realize just what you did to her." Naruto paused briefly before continuing. No one, not even you Jedi, have a right to mess with another's mind. You have no right to demand anything from us. We are the Jedi Elders of the Jedi Council. Vrook loudly said. Naruto calmed himself so the plan did not blow up in his face. Calmly Naruto spoke, I apologize, it was not my intent to cause strife. But I have seen the effects both before and after of messing with another being's mind. The mind is both fragile and strong. It does not bend. Well, and even if you succeed in erasing or changing something, the mind will snap back into place. One of two things will happen. Either the mind regains what it lost or the mind breaks. Naruto saw the thoughtful looks on the others and continued with a sigh, my people had those among us that could erase memories and implant new ones. But even then they did not know of the after effects. If it is against the person's will or not, they would regain the memories and they would fuse with the implanted ones, causing the person's mind to break. Since I have met Sar, she has spoken of seeing visions of Revan and Malik together. When, not if, but when she regains her memories, if the implanted memories are still the then either her mind will do away with the false ones or fuse and cause her to go crazy. There is an 80 to 85% chance that the false memories will fuse. This is why you need to remove the false memories. Bastilla was horrified at what Naruto was telling them. She could tell what Naruto said was the truth somehow. The others in the room also knew what he spoke to be the truth. As those who lost their memories sooner or later remembered with a trigger event. Speak to the council we will, Vandar stated. Come to a consensus we must, not in our power it is at this time. Naruto knew they wouldn't do it, or if they did it would be to implant new orders into Sayer's mind. Sar Pav. Suddenly Sar showed up before any more could be said. Doric was the one to see her and spoke. Ah Sar, it is fortuitous that you have come. Naruto saw that Doric was doing this to change the subject. Sar came up to stand by Naruto when Zar, noticing the reprieve, spoke, Bastilla has told us that you both have shared a force vision. Sar looked at the Jedi and said, I did have a dream. I think of Malik and Revan at some ruins, but that's it, though I do have to ask, why is it that Bastilla and I are having the same dreams or visions as you? Call them a bond you both share, Vandar said. Yes, force bonds are rare and only happen between those who can use the force, explained Zar. Why you and Bastilla share one is at this time a mystery, though the force works in mysterious ways that even the oldest of do not know. Sar looked at the Jedi with a dumbfounded expression. The force works in mysterious ways. That's all you can say. Well, I don't like these dreams that show battles and I don't want them, she said with a slightly raised voice. Before she shut up, as she just said omething she felt the Jedi should not know. The Jedi and Bastilla looked at her then themselves as the Jedi remembered what Naruto spoke of before, that her memories would come back. Doric was the one to speak next. You have been having dreams of battles. Sar, realizing she could not get out of it, confirmed what she said. Yes, though they are fuzzy and hazy, but the screams of those dying I can hear clearly. Sar realized that the dreams of battles were battles she participated in. Troubling, most troubling. Powerful you are if you can sense the battles that rage throughout the galaxy. Zar said. Train you we must in the ways of the Force to block it out. Sar looked at the council and debated whether or not she should go through with Naruto's plan. But decided to go through with it, as she wanted to know who she truly was before the Sith and Jedi messed with her mind. She knew that she would remember things she would not like about herself, and from the few jumbled memories she could see with clarity the atrocities of war. I wish to be trained as a Jedi, Sar spoke finally. With that, Sar, wishing to be alone to reflect, left without being dismissed. Naruto Pav. Well, that went well, Naruto said in an amused tone before getting back to the discussion. The Jedi looked at him before he continued. Now about the Sith that also rewrote Revan's mind, Naruto said, getting the full attention of the elders. Yes, scoffed Vrook. Tell us about this Sith Emperor that you claim turned Revan into the Dark Jedi she became. Naruto knew that they did not believe him, so he did a short explanation on what he found in Revan's head, as he needed to see them to remove the remnants of the Sith's control. He told the Jedi how Revan was told by the leader of the Mandalorians had said they were paid with materials to build ships and weapons to fight the Republic. The Sith wanted to see if the Mandalorians could beat the Republic, as it was becoming corrupt and the Jedi lazy. The Mandalorians were told if the Republic started to win they would send in troops to help them Over time certain Mandalorians came under the control of the Emperor himself, including himself. Revan had managed to break the hold of the Sith on the Mandalorian leader, though to do so caused him to die. Revan, realizing that the Republic was now in a weakened position, took all of her elites with her to destroy the Sith's own forces, as she realized that both the Mandalorians and Republic even together would not stop an invasion fleet. Revan had caught the Sith forces flat-footed and destroyed most of the invasion fleet as it was powered down. Revan became slightly arrogant and decided to kill the Sith Emperor herself. She did not know that Malak had been slipping into the dark side and was caught unaware when Alec and a dozen other Jedi turned on her and the remainder of her forces. Malak being the one who knocked her out. Naruto looked at the council as they took in what he told them. What was done to Revan I will not say, but it was horrific to say the least. He said, she never broke, and because she wouldn't, they used a ritual to implant new memories. Bastilla had a slight haunted look, as if she could see these memories. She didn't know if she would be as strong if she was in Revan's place. Now, Naruto spoke. You have a week to remove the programming. If you do not, I will. And with that, Naruto left the 5 Jedi and made his way to the Ebon Hawk. The Jedi elders looked at each other. They needed to speak with some of the others, including their own master. Vrook looked at Bastilla and told her that they needed to speak in private and to go meditate. Bastilla went to a side chamber that was used for meditating. Inside, as she tried to meditate, she couldn't, as the words that Naruto spoke rang through her mind. As she started her breathing techniques, she heard the Jedi elders speaking loudly, so she listened and became horrified by what she heard. We cannot release Revan from our control. She is the only Valen left other than the exile, and she cannot be found. Yelled Vrook. That is not the most troubling thing. He said he could remove the programming. Not only that, but I have never felt the Force as strong as his. Said Doric. We all believed Revan and her cousin were the most powerful Jedi in Force potential, but he is a son compared to their star. He continued. What we need is a plan, said Zar. Demanded a week. He did. Vandar finally spoke. We are the Jedi Council, spoke a hologram Jedi elder from Coruscant. He can demand nothing. Finally another voice, a female one, spoke. Bring him and Revan to Coruscant to learn about the Force. Tell this male we will tell Revan after she completes her training. Just before her training is complete, we will all be on Coruscant, and with all of us together we will subdue him and use the same ritual as we used on Revan. As you wish, master. But what about Revan? She is starting to remember M1, but also about the battles she fought during the Mandalore War. Asked Zar. It matters not. Once she kills Malak, if she is not dead, we will give her over to the Republic as a sign of good faith on the Jedi's part of not telling them she lived. Spoke the woman. What of this Sith Emperor? He spoke of master. Asked another hologram Jedi. He is no one to worry about. Revan crippled his forces. It is why he has not attacked the Republic, as he cannot. She spoke. This session is now over. In 3 days' time send them to Coruscant, and in a year's time they will be ready to fight Malak. Bastilla could not believe what she heard. She did not know who this person the elders were calling master, but she could tell it was an older female by the experience she heard in her voice. She waited and managed to use a calming technique before leaving the chamber she was in and made her way to her quarters. After 2 hours of internal debating, Bastilla made a choice and went to tell the one person she believed could stop the machinations of the council. Naruto. Naruto felt the turmoil of Bastilla before he saw her with his negative sense power given to him by Kurama. Come in, Bastilla. Naruto spoke just before Bastilla nagged to knock on the bulkhead at the door to his quarters on the Ebon Hawk. Bastilla stood there with indecision on her face before it changed to determination. She then told him what she overheard from the Jedi elders and what they planned to do. Naruto listened and felt a small bit of anger, not at what they were going to do, but what doing this was doing to Bastilla. He could tell that her world was basically falling around her, as she now knew that the Jedi were worse than the Sith. At least the Sith were honest and did not play the I am a good guy card. Sure, the Sith under Malak were killing worlds, but they didn't wrap it in a Jedi robe to do it. Don't worry, Bastilla, I knew that the Jedi Edlers would try something. He spoke. Though do not give up, as I do not believe that the entire Jedi Order is corrupt, just most of them. He said, trying to reassure her. Now why don't you go back to your sleeping quarters and go to bed, or do something to get your mind off of what you have seen and heard. Bastila, feeling a little better, left and slowly started to realize everything would work out. Meanwhile, Naruto told the others what he was told and sent some clones to learn more about the Republic's history. He disguised his clones as generic Jedi or regular scholars he saw around. Later that night, Naruto with his clones helped put seals up around the Enclave and activated them, putting all but himself asleep. He used his former sensei's invisibility jutsu for the electronics and droids to make his way to the Jedi Elder's rooms. Once there, he used his Rinnegan's abilities to copy all memories from all 4 Jedi Elders. He then spent the next 3 days doing chakra control and learning how to use certain force abilities that would not be detected by the Jedi Masters. He also spent whole days sorting through the memories and information he could get from the Jedi Elders and the basic Republic history archives on this planet. He had also slept with his girls and put a better plan in action, including giving the location of a planet with an old Jedi base that only Vandar knew of. Naruto now knew most of the council was under the control, willing or not, to a Valen Merluka hybrid Roan that survived the Sith purge by the Jedi. At this time he could not remove the programming from Vandar, as they would find out. He did remove the location of the planet using the Yamanaka technique. He knew from Vandar, so he could use the planet as a fallback in case he needed it. Well, he didn't remove it so much as suppress it. After 3 days the council sent Sar and Naruto on a shuttle with 3 Padawans and 1 Jedi Knight to go to Coruscant after they told Naruto that they would tell her after their training was complete. Canderous Pav. It took 2 months to make it to the planet of Fetist. Fetist was once a planet under the control of the Fett clan of the Mandalorians before a seismic event caused it to become a Hazard 3 planet. Only 300 years ago it was made into a shipbuilding planet due to the molten metal found on the planet capable to be used by the Valen race for their ships. It was thought lost until Davik Kong stumbled upon it. He used it to build droids and fighters as it was cheaper. Building ships would get someone's attention eventually, and he decided in case the exchange betrayed him or he outgrew them, he would only build those, selling them to others at 3 times the price to build them. Canderous had mission Zerdra, T3M4, Kali with him, as Naruto wanted them to go somewhere away from the council. Naruto had not told the council where they went or that they left, as he believed the council would use them against him or Sar. Naruto promised Kali he would teach her the Force once they were back together, as he did not want her near the others. It would take another 2 months to repair certain consoles that were needed to build ships. Naruto had sent with him a ship design that was massive in scale but never used due to the creator dying in the Mandalorian War. Karth Pav. Karth Onasi had returned back to the Republic Navy after leaving Dantooine. He at first was contemplating staying with the others, but when he heard they would LDB joining the Jedi Order, left in a shuttle bound for Coruscant to make his report to the Republic Armed Forces Council. He thought it was his best decision, as he was sent to command a planetary defense fleet at Serapan. Star Forge Pav. Malik collapsed to the deck in agony from the force lining sent through him by the leader of the Sith Lords that were sent to find the one who appeared in the galaxy. In front of Malik was the hologram transmission of the Sith Emperor who towered over him. You disrupted much of my plans, Malik, when you betrayed Revan. But that is not why my 4 horsemen are here for. They are here for the one who showed up, and his emotions were felt through the Force. The Emperor spat. You will do nothing but continue to the letter to weaken the Jedi and Republic and allow them to find him. If you deviated even once, I will show more pain than Revan felt at my hands. With that, the 4 Sith left and split up to cover more ground to find the fox, as their master called him. Malik felt humiliated, and his hatred for Revan surged stronger than before. He was glad that the Emperor believed Revan dead, though he now knew differently, as Saul Kareth had told him what the bounty hunter told him of Bastila's flight from Taris. He had sent 24 teams out to find and kill Revan and the others. He got up and decided to quench his anger on a female Jedi they had PTU read from their ranks that was a spy for the Jedi. The end. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.